Chapter 290. In Lin Ping's opinion, Fei Ren was only at the 6th level of the star realm. Even if Fei Ren was talented in comprehension, his strength would at most be at the 7th level of the star realm. As long as Lin Fe nodded, he was confident that he would be able to defeat Fei Ren in less than 3 moves. Lin Ping had seen many geniuses who were proud and arrogant just because they had some talent. Obviously, he also considered Fei Ren to be one of them. "Little brat, I'll show you the difference in strength," Lin Ping swore in his heart. In the next moment, a trace of viciousness flashed across his eyes. At the same time, he tightened his grip on the black wooden cane in his right hand. "Lin Ping, this kid is our Lin family's benefactor. Don't overdo it." Seeing that both sides were ready to fight, Lin Fe tacitly agreed to the duel. At the same time, he looked at Fei Ren and said, "Little brother, if you insist on fighting with Elder Lin Ping, it's fine. However, this hall is too small. I'm afraid it won't be convenient for you to fight." "No need. I can finish the fight in 5 breaths." Fei Ren shook his head in response to Lin Fe's suggestion. In the next moment, an extraordinary fluctuation of origin power surged out from his body. Although his cultivation was only at the 6th level of the star realm, his aura was not weaker than Lin Ping's. "This kid! What a powerful aura!" Seeing this scene, a middle-aged man immediately cried out in a low voice. He was also a branch elder of the Lin family, and his strength was only slightly weaker than Lin Ping's. However, from Fei Ren's body, he actually felt a trace of a fatal threat. He has such a powerful aura with a mere 6th level of the star realm cultivation base. This kid must have killed a lot of people. In the center of the hall, Lin Fe took a few steps back. When he saw the powerful aura surging out from Fei Ren's body, he was also surprised. In the next moment, his expression turned serious. As a martial master expert, even he could not help but feel a trace of threat in the face of such an enormous aura. "Humph, aura alone is useless." Soul seizing. Seeing Fei Ren's imposing manner, and how he was completely disregarded, Lin Ping flew into a rage out of humiliation. Immediately, he heavily slammed the black wooden cane in his hand. Yuan Qi erupted as he simultaneously raised his hand and blasted out a pitch-black ghost head shadow. The ghost head phantasm roared again and again. It was like a reaper from hell. In an instant it attacked Fei Ren. At the same time, it swept up a series of remnant winds. This move, seizing soul and seizing soul, was Lin Ping's specialty. Its power was comparable to a quasi-rank 5 martial art. He used his full strength right from the start. This was also Lin Ping's plan. He wanted to defeat Fei Ren with a thunderous force and let him know the immensity of heaven and earth. Shua! A sinister wind blew as the ghost head phantasm instantly arrived in front of Fei Ren. However, in the next moment, it dissipated and turned into nothingness. It was as if it had been destroyed by a powerful and invisible force. It did not hurt Fei Ren at all. What? Seeing this scene, not only Lin Ping, but even Lin Shuai and the other elders of the Lin family, who were watching from the side, had a drastic change in expression. They could not believe it. Only Lin Fe seemed to have realized something. A trace of surprise flashed across his eyes. "It's my turn." Fei Ren lifted his hand and patted the dust off his body. His gaze once again looked at Lin Ping. His tone was cold. "I said that I would finish this battle in 5 breaths. How is this possible? You? Ah!" Before he could finish speaking, the shocked expression on Lin Ping's face froze. His entire body was sent flying by Fei Ren's punch. Blood splattered everywhere. Along the way, he crashed into several tables and chairs. Finally, he fell heavily into the corner of the hall. His aura instantly withered. Instant kill with 1 punch. Even though Lin Ping, who was at the 9th level star realm, had used a quasi-rank 5 martial art, he was still no match for Fei Ren. Can't even withstand a single blow. Fei Ren glanced at Lin Ping, whose aura was weak and covered in blood. He had completely lost the ability to fight. His expression was calm, as if he had just casually dealt with an insignificant piece of trash. So powerful! Seeing Lin Ping's miserable state, Lin Shuai, who was watching the battle, also secretly swallowed his saliva. It was only at this moment that he realized that Fei Ren had clearly not used his full strength when he killed the second chief of the Black Cloud stronghold. His opponent's strength was no weaker than any half-step martial master expert. After all, even Lin Shuai, who was at the 10th level Star Realm, did not dare to say that he could kill Lin Ping in one move. At the very least, he would have to fight for dozens of rounds. This kid's strength is actually so strong. Lin Ping's strength is one of the best among us. To think that he couldn't even last one round against this kid. It seems that the young master's words were true. Seeing Lin Ping's miserable defeat without any ability to fight back, the Lin family branch elders in the hall looked at each other in dismay. Then, they began to discuss in low voices. They seemed to have been shocked by Fei Ren's strength. With a mere 6th level Star Realm cultivation, Fei Ren was able to kill Lin Ping, who was at the 9th level Star Realm, in one move. It was enough for him to enter the ranks of the top 3 geniuses of Black Rock City, and become the 4th of them. Powerful mental strength in addition to a thick and solid Yuan Li. With these two forces combined, he was able to resolve Lin Ping's strongest palm strike in an instant. Moreover, his movement technique is no weaker than any half-step martial master expert. Who the hell is this kid? Lin Fun's gaze fell on Fei Ren in the hall. He did not say a word. No one knew what he was thinking, but his expression gradually turned serious. He was certain that apart from his Yuan Li cultivation, Fei Ren's mental strength was also extraordinary. It was at least at the 3rd level of the profound martial realm, which was comparable to a grade 3 alchemist. First Elder, may I ask if I can obtain a spot for the Heavenly Yuan Pool's baptism with my strength? After dealing with Lin Ping, Fei Ren saw the group of Lin family branch elders looking at him with eyes full of reverence. Fei Ren stopped there and immediately retracted the Yuan power around his body. He once again raised his eyes to look at Lin Fun, who was in the middle of the hall. Now that Lin Ping, who had questioned his strength, had fallen, and the surrounding Lin clan's branch elders were also deeply awed, Fei Ren was confident that Lin Fun would not have any more excuses. After all, he had saved Lin Shuai and the others earlier. It was reasonable for the Lin clan to owe him a debt of gratitude. Little brother, although your strength has increased, I still can't give you a spot for the Heavenly Yuan Pool's baptism. Even our Lin clan only has 2 spots. Moreover, Elder Lin Ping is quite old. Why did you have to injure him so heavily? Please forgive this old man for not being able to agree to your request. However, Fei Ren still underestimated how thick-skinned Lin Fun was. Lin Fun still shook his head and frowned slightly. At the same time, there was a trace of blame in his voice, as if he felt that Lin Fun had been too heavy-handed. This old man. How can he be so shameless? Fei Ren secretly clenched his fists under his sleeves. His expression became increasingly solemn as he thought to himself. At this point, he also understood that Lin Fun would not agree to his request. If he wanted to obtain a spot for the Heavenly Yuan Pool's baptism, there was a high probability that he would have to find the Lin clan's enemies, the Chao and Lu clans. After all, the Heavenly Yuan Pool was a treasure trove that was jointly guarded by the 3 great clans of Black Rock City. Other than members of the 3 great clans, it was very difficult for other practitioners to even take half a step into the Heavenly Yuan Pool. Chapter 291. Great Elder Fei Ren is my friend. Furthermore, our Lin family owes him a debt of gratitude. How can we be so heartless? Seeing Lin Fun's resolute attitude, Lin Shuai stepped forward and spoke in a dissatisfied tone. Young master, it is not that I am heartless. Regardless of whether it is pills, yuan stones or soul treasures, as long as the Lin family can afford it, we can use it as a reward. However, the Heavenly Yuan Pool baptism quota is an exception. You should know that our entire Lin family only has 2 quotas. Furthermore, if our Lin family is unable to achieve good results in the Heavenly Yuan Pool competition 3 months later and remains at the bottom of the rankings, not only will our Lin family be kicked out of the top 3 families in Black Rock City, we will also have no fate with the Heavenly Yuan Pool. Hence, we cannot give the Heavenly Yuan Pool baptism quota to an outsider. Lin Fen's tone was solemn as he spoke again. The meaning behind his words was self-evident. He seemed to feel that Lin Shuai was overly concerned about loyalty in the Jianghu, and was willing to sacrifice the core interests of the Lin family for the sake of an outsider like Fei Ren. Great Elder's words make sense. Little brother, it is not that our Lin family does not know how to repay kindness. However, the Heavenly Yuan Pool baptism quota is too precious and cannot be given away so easily. That's right. The 2 Heavenly Yuan Pool baptism quota should be reserved for the young master and Lin Qiushui. Only the 2 of them have the chance to turn the tide and emerge victorious in the Heavenly Yuan Pool competition 3 months later. At the same time, the Lin family will retain its position as one of the top 3 families. At this moment, a few Lin family branch elders were also discussing spiritedly. One of the Lin family elders cast an apologetic glance at Fei Ren, as if he agreed with Lin Fun's decision. After all, one should keep the goodies within the family. Are these guys trying to play the good cop? Fine, then don't blame me for being heartless, Fei Ren secretly said in his heart as he glanced once again at the resolute and solemn Lin Fun. Immediately, he coldly snorted and turned around to leave. He did not even intend to accept the reward that Lin Fun had promised him. After all, compared to a Heavenly Yuan Pool baptism quota, low-grade Yuan stones, pills and soul treasures were all worthless. He did not care about them at all. Unless the Lin family could take out mid-grade primordial stones, the effect of absorbing tens of thousands of mid-grade primordial stones should be similar to the Heavenly Yuan Pool. However, the value of mid-grade primordial stones was not low either. One mid-grade primordial stone could be exchanged for 100 low-grade primordial stones. Tens of thousands of mid-grade primordial stones could be exchanged for millions of low-grade primordial stones. Taking out such a huge sum of money at once, even an 8th-rank family like the Lin family would suffer a great loss. Therefore, this situation was simply impossible. Little brother, don't be in a hurry to leave. Suddenly, just as Fei Ren was about to leave the hall, a faint elderly voice was faintly emitted. In the next moment, everyone in the hall only felt a gust of wind assault them. Subsequently, a white-haired old man in a brocade robe appeared in front of everyone. The old man in the brocade robe had an extraordinary appearance. His every move seemed to carry a domineering aura. Patriarch, Big Brother! Upon seeing the appearance of the old man in the brocade robe, the elders from the Lin clan's branch families in the hall cupped their hands together and spoke out. Lin Fen's eyes were similarly shocked as he softly exclaimed, "Father, you've finally come out of seclusion." To the side, Lin Shuai's expression changed when he saw the familiar silhouette of the old man in the brocade robe. In the next moment, he cupped his hands together. The old man was the current patriarch of the Lin family, a level 3 martial master expert, Lin Jinan. He's the patriarch of the Lin family, Lin Jinan. This powerful Yuan power undulation has indeed reached the level 3 martial master level. Faced with Lin Jinan's urging, Fei Ren also stopped in the next moment and looked in the direction of the old man. Little brother, you're very strong. Even Lin Shuai is far inferior to you. This old man is very clear in his heart. Turning his head, he saw Lin Jinan step in front of Fei Ren with a trace of admiration in his eyes. The scene of Lin Ping killing Lin Ping with a single move had also entered his eyes. Although Fei Ren's Yuan power cultivation was only at level 6 star realm, Lin Jinan was very clear in his heart that Fei Ren's overall strength was not weaker than any half-step martial master. Patriarch Lin is too polite. In the face of Lin Jinan's praise, Fei Ren only cupped his hands together and did not say anything else. Little brother, do you want a spot for the heavenly Yuan Lake baptism? Lin Jinan nodded and asked again in a probing tone. Although Lin Fun was unwilling to give up a spot for the heavenly Yuan Lake baptism, Lin Jinan was different. He saw the extraordinary talent and potential in Fei Ren, and he might even be able to help the Lin family reverse this crisis. As long as the Lin family could escape this crisis, even giving up a spot for the heavenly Yuan Lake baptism would not be a big deal. Yes. Fei Ren nodded. He seemed to have sensed that there was still a chance for things to turn around, and his expression was firm. All right, this old man promises you. However, in the Heavenly Yuan Lake competition 3 months later, you have to participate as the Lin family's external aid. Otherwise, if the Lin family ranks last in the Heavenly Yuan Lake competition, the spot I promised you will no longer exist. Little brother, what do you think? Lin Jinan stroked his beard and chuckled, as if he already had a plan in mind. After all, Fei Ren was not weak. With his help, the Lin family might be able to achieve a good result in the Heavenly Yuan Lake competition 3 months later. They might even be able to break through the Chao and Lu families' joint suppression and maintain their position as one of the 3 great families in Black Rock City. No problem. In the face of Lin Jinan's conditions, Fei Ren readily agreed. In his opinion, as long as the other party agreed, the rest would not be a problem. Although the Chao and Lu families were both grade 8 families, and their younger generation members were not weak, Fei Ren did not think much of them. With his current strength, unless a level 2 martial master intervened, it would be very difficult for anyone to defeat him. Big brother, our Lin family only has 2 spots. If you give one of them to an outsider, what will happen to Qiushui and the rest? Isn't this a little unfair to the younger generation of the Lin family? When he saw that Lin Jinan had agreed to Fei Ren's request, Lin Fun could no longer remain calm. He immediately stepped forward and spoke in an anxious tone, as if he felt that the other party's actions were somewhat inappropriate. Second brother, I know what you're thinking. You want to give the other spot to your son, Lin Qiushui, right? However, as your big brother, I must remind you that if the Lin family is unable to achieve a good result in the Heavenly Yuan Lake competition, it will be useless even if I fight for an extra spot for the younger generation of the Lin family. Right now, the Lin family can only maintain its position as one of the 3 great families in Black Rock City once and for all. In the face of Lin Fun's obstruction, Lin Jinan did not take it to heart. His tone was solemn, as if he felt that the other party's reaction was too obvious and too selfish. In the Lin family, besides the young master Lin Shui, there were many other young geniuses. The son of first elder Lin Fun, the level 9 star stage Lin Qiushui, was one of them. Although Lin Qiushui's strength was inferior to Lin Shui's, he was still one of the best among the younger generation of the Lin family. In the past Heavenly Yuan Lake competition, besides the young master Lin Shui who was guaranteed a spot, the other spot would usually be given to Lin Qiushui. Hence, when he saw that Lin Jinan had given the precious remaining spot to Fei Ren, Lin Fun's reaction was so huge that he found it hard to accept. Chapter 292. So this old man was trying to save a spot for his son. No wonder he refused to agree. Hearing this, Fei Ren also understood something. As the Lin family was ranked last among the 3 major families in Black Rock City and had poor results in the previous Heavenly Yuan Lake competition, the number of spots the Lin family received was very few. There were only 2 spots. In terms of strength and status, the young master of the Lin family, Lin Shui, would definitely take 1 spot. If the other spot was given to him, then Lin Fun's son, Lin Qiushui, would not have a chance. Hence, Lin Shui was obstructing him. However, in the Lin family, Lin Jinan was still the head of the family. No matter how dissatisfied Lin Fun was, he could only silently swallow it. Big brother. Just as Fei Ren thought, Lin Fen's face darkened at Lin Jinan's question. He wanted to say something but stopped himself. It was as if someone had hit his sore spot. No need to say anything. This matter is settled. All of you may leave. Second brother, you must remember that the family's interests are the most important. Lin Jinan flicked his sleeve and glanced at Lin Fun. His tone was full of meaning. How could he not know what Lin Fun was thinking? Yes. At this point, Lin Fun knew that there was no hope left. His face darkened as he turned and left the hall. As the younger brother, he knew Lin Jinan's temperament very well. Lin Jinan had always been a man of his word. Once he said something, it was very difficult to change it. Furthermore, there was a group of Lin family branch elders present. In order to protect the dignity of the family head, he could not directly contradict Lin Jinan. Although Lin Fun was the current head elder of the Lin family and was also a martial master expert, his cultivation was several levels lower than Lin Jinan's. He was barely at level 2 martial master. On the other hand, Lin Jinan had been at level 3 martial master for many years and was only a step away from breaking through to level 4 martial master. Family head is wise. Seeing Lin Fun leave resentfully, the Lin family branch elders in the hall looked at each other. In the next moment, they cupped their hands respectfully and left one after another. Father, you broke through to level 4 martial master? After Lin Fun and the Lin family branch elders left, Lin Shuai stepped forward and could not help but ask. Not only was Lin Jinan the patriarch of the Lin clan, but he was also the current pillar of the Lin clan, supporting the Lin clan, an 8th-rank clan. If Lin Jinan fell, Lin Fun, who was only a 2nd-rank martial master, would not be able to make a comeback. It would also be difficult to protect the Lin clan's position as one of the 3 great clans in Black Rock City. Therefore, the outcome of Lin Jinan's seclusion this time was extremely important. Little Commander, your father has disappointed you, however. To Lin Shuai's surprise, the originally dignified Lin Jinan shook his head and spoke with a rare trace of bitterness on his face. The breakthrough failed. Seeing this scene, Lin Shuai was slightly stunned, and he was in a daze for a long time. A martial artist's breakthrough wasn't always smooth sailing. Once the breakthrough failed, the essence energy that was painstakingly condensed in the dantian would dissipate, and one could only wait for the next time when the essence energy was fully condensed. This not only required an opportunity, it similarly required time. Furthermore, as a martial artist, after reaching Lin Jinan's age, every breakthrough was a test. The slightest mistake would cause one to lose everything. Therefore, after knowing that Lin Jinan had failed to break through, Lin Shuai's face revealed a deep sense of disappointment. He was very clear that Lin Jinan had failed to break through this time. By the time he broke through to the 4th-rank martial master next time, it would take at least a few years. However, the Lin clan couldn't afford to wait. Patriarch Lin, what about the condition you previously agreed to? At this moment, Fei Ren, who had been silent for a long time, finally spoke. He didn't care whether Lin Jinan had successfully broken through or not. Right now, he only wanted to obtain a spot for the Heavenly Yuan Pool baptism. As for the rest, it was a small matter. Little friend Fei Ren, you must be joking. This is only natural. After regaining his senses, Lin Jinan restrained his expression and nodded. Previously, he was too engrossed and forgot about Fei Ren, who was beside him. Although he had failed to break through, as long as Fei Ren could represent the Lin clan and achieve good results in the Heavenly Yuan Pool competition 3 months later, the Lin clan would still have a chance to turn the situation around. Moreover, once the Lin clan achieved good results in the Heavenly Yuan Pool competition, the Lin clan would be able to obtain more baptism spot. Therefore, giving Fei Ren a spot was a huge gamble for Lin Jinan. If he won, the Lin clan would have a chance to turn the situation around. If he lost, the Lin clan would fall into the abyss. Little Shuai, although I have failed to break through, it doesn't mean that we have no chance of turning the situation around. With little friend Fei Ren's help, we may be able to defeat the Chao and Lu clans in the Heavenly Yuan Pool competition 3 months later. To be honest, other than the girl called Chao Ling from the Chao clan, the other young geniuses from the 2 clans can only be SOSO. Even Lu Xuanyu is the same. Therefore, during this period of time, you must cultivate diligently and don't slack off. Lin Jinan looked at Lin Shuai again and said in a solemn tone. Compared to the others, Lin Shuai was his eldest son and the young master of the Lin clan. Naturally, he would pay more attention to him. Moreover, if Lin Shuai could not break through the encirclement with his strength, the other Lin clan disciples would not be able to. I understand. In response to Lin Jinan's reminder, Lin Shuai's expression was equally solemn as he nodded slightly. The results of the Heavenly Yuan Pool competition would determine the distribution of benefits among the 3 great clans of Black Rock City. The clan that ranked first would obtain 4 spots, the second would obtain 3 spots, and the clan that ranked last would only obtain 2 spots. In the Heavenly Yuan Pool competition, the 3 great clans of Black Rock City had been on par with each other in terms of strength. Countless young geniuses had emerged and the rankings of the competition had fluctuated. Regardless of whether it was the Lin clan, the Lu clan, or the Chao clan, all of them had won first place. It could be said that the 3 clans were competing for hegemony. However, in the recent Heavenly Yuan Pool competition, the Lin clan had gradually weakened and fallen to the bottom. On the other hand, the Chao clan had gradually risen and dominated the Heavenly Yuan Pool competition for many years. As for the Lu clan, they had become the Chao clan's ally, and the 2 of them had worked together to suppress the Lin clan. Hence, the Lin clan situation had become increasingly difficult. After the previous Heavenly Yuan Pool competition, the Chao and Lu clans had announced that if the Lin clan was still ranked last in the next Heavenly Yuan Pool competition, they would voluntarily withdraw from the ranks of the 3 great clans of Black Rock City. Due to external pressure, the head of the Lin clan, Lin Jinan, could only grit his teeth and accept this agreement. After all, the Chao and Lu clans each possessed several martial master experts. If he did not accept this agreement, the Chao and Lu clans would definitely join forces to attack him. When that time came, the Lin clan would also suffer great losses. Head of the Lin clan, since you have taken their money, you must help them. I will definitely do my best to help your Lin clan maintain its position as one of the 3 great clans of Black Rock City. To one side, Fei Ren also spoke with a calm expression on his face. He had his own plans. If he could help the Lin clan maintain its position as one of the 3 great clans of Black Rock City, besides the Heavenly Yuan Pool baptism quota, he might be able to obtain some additional rewards from the Lin clan. He naturally could not miss out on such a good opportunity. Chapter 293. By the way, little friend Fei Ren, this old man also has a Dragon Eye Clear Jade pill personally refined by Grandmaster Gu. Please don't be shy. Lin Jinan took out a green pill that looked like a longan from his spirit ring and handed it to Fei Ren. There was a faint wave-like pattern in the middle of the pill. It was emitting a pill fragrance. It seemed to be a high-quality pill. Dragon Eye Clear pill? At the side, Lin Shuai was also shocked when he saw the dark green pill in Lin Jinan's palm. As the young master of the Lin family, he was experienced and knowledgeable. Naturally, he knew that the Dragon Eye Clear pill in front of him was not cheap. This pill was a kind of level 5 pill, and it was the best among the level 5 pills. It could greatly increase the cultivation strength of a warrior. Even for a martial mentor, it had a certain effect. It was comparable to a panacea. In addition, the effect of the pill was very abnormal. It could help a warrior to temporarily ignore the bottleneck of the cultivation level and directly break through the cultivation level. There were no side effects. Even a high-level Star Realm warrior could break through at least one level. Moreover, if the Dragon Eye Clear pill was of 99% quality and was close to perfect, one could break through several levels after taking it. His cultivation level would increase rapidly like a rocket. Therefore, this pill had always been popular among warriors. It was basically priceless. Lin Shuai was shocked when he saw Lin Jinan give away a Dragon Eye Clear pill. Even a grade 8 family like the Lin family did not have many Dragon Eye Clear pills. It was a rare item. Cough cough, Master Lin, I have already obtained a place for the Heavenly Yuan Pool baptism. How can I accept it? Seeing this, Fei Ren coughed dryly a few times and pretended to decline. He knew that the Dragon Eye Clear pill was rare and valuable. However, he still had to pretend to be polite. My friend, you don't have to be so polite. As long as the Heavenly Yuan Pool competition lasts 3 months, our Lin family will be able to achieve good results and maintain our position as one of the top 3 families in Black Rock City. A grade 5 Dragon Eye Clear pill is nothing. Furthermore, I had obtained this pill from Great Master Gu of Black Rock City. I just happened to have one left. Lin Jinan smiled faintly. He had expected Fei Ren to decline, so he said, "Don't worry. Master Gu?" Accepting the Dragon Eye Clear pill, Fei Ren was slightly surprised. Judging from the other party's words, this Master Gu seemed to have quite a high status in Black Rock City. Since he was able to concoct a level 5 pill, his spiritual power and attainments in alchemy were definitely not low. Yes, Brother Fei Ren. Master Gu is the only 5th-tier alchemist in Black Rock City. His status is very honorable and he rarely refines pills. Even the people from our 3 great families have to act according to this Master Gu's mood. If he's in a bad mood, he won't refine pills no matter how much we offer. He's a strange old man who acts alone, nodding his head, Lin Shuai explained. He seemed to have a good understanding of Master Gu. It's normal. As a level 5 alchemist, his spiritual power must have reached the 5th level of the profound martial realm. Moreover, this Master Gu is an old man, so his temper can't be good. Hearing this, Fei Ren shrugged his shoulders and agreed. Although Master Gu's temper was strange, it had nothing to do with him. He wouldn't beg someone for a mere level 5 pill. Moreover, Fei Ren, who had the refining immortal cauldron, didn't have much need for pills. To Fei Ren, as long as there were enough origin stones and demon cores, or enough life essence for him to absorb, his cultivation would break through at lightning speed. Moreover, he wouldn't encounter any bottleneck. Lin family's main hall. Fei Ren took the Dragon Eye Clear pill and left after a while. He was still more than half of the origin power he needed to break through to the 7th level of the Star Realm. Lin Jinan's gift of a pill was like sending charcoal in snowy weather. With the rich medicinal power of the Dragon Eye Clear pill, it was almost certain that he would break through. Therefore, Fei Ren needed to find a quiet place to break through and increase his strength. At the same time, he needed to prepare for the Heavenly Yuan Pool competition 3 months later. Little Shuai, you said that you were attacked by the Black Cloud Citadel's bandits? After Fei Ren left, Lin Jinan turned his head and looked at Lin Shuai. Yes, father. When our caravan was about to leave the Qatar desert, the Black Cloud Citadel's bandits suddenly appeared. It was as if it was premeditated. At that time, I only had a dozen Lin family guards with me. With the strength of Qin Gang and the rest, there was no way we could fight against hundreds of bandits and the 2 leaders of the Black Cloud Citadel. Fortunately, Brother Fei Ren intervened in time. Otherwise, we would have been doomed. In response to Lin Jinan's inquiry, Lin Shuai nodded his head. His tone was serious as if he also felt that something was amiss. Black Cloud Citadel. This group of bandits is really lawless. They actually dared to bully our Lin family. Do they really think that I am a tiger without a temper? When he heard this, Lin Jinan gently swung his sleeves. In the next moment, a furious expression appeared on his aged face. It was as if the flames of anger had been ignited. After all, Lin Shuai was his eldest son. At the same time, he was also the young master of the Lin family and the future successor of the Lin family. If something happened to Lin Shuai, given Lin Jinan's temper, even if he had to dig 3 feet into the ground, he would not spare a single one of the bandits from the Black Cloud Citadel. However, this time, other than me and a few elders, no one else knew that you were leading a team to make a deal with the desert tribes. This time, you were attacked by the Black Cloud Citadel's bandit. It seems that the Lin family is in trouble. As the topic changed, Lin Jinan's expression gradually turned solemn. Father, are you saying that there is a spy within our Lin family? When he heard this, Lin Shuai naturally understood and softly exclaimed. It's hard to say. However, if there really is a spy within the Lin family, I will definitely skin him alive and tear his body into pieces. As a disciple of the Lin family, he actually colluded with outsiders to harm his own family. He deserves to die. Shaking his head, Lin Jinan's gaze gradually turned fierce. It seemed that he already had some other plans in his mind. Black Rock City, in an inn room. What a good pill. Its quality is actually as high as 92%. This Master Gu's alchemy skills are not bad. Although he is a weird old man with a bad temper, Feiren was sitting cross-legged. At this moment, his right hand was holding a jade-green pill the size of a longan. His eyes were filled with surprise. Although his alchemy level was just SOSO, only about the level of an ordinary level 2 alchemist, Feiren was very good in terms of eyesight. With just a quick glance, he discovered that the Dragon Eye Clear pill given by Lin Jinan was extraordinary. According to the other party, this pill was refined by the only level 5 alchemist in Black Rock City, Master Gu. Its value was extremely rare. Moreover, Master Gu's temper was extremely strange. It was already extremely difficult for a normal martial artist to obtain one of his refined pills, let alone a level 5 pill. Chapter 294. Good pill, it's really a good pill. If I take this pill, it won't be a problem for me to break through to the 7th level of the Star Realm. Feiren took another look at the Dragon Eye's clear jade pill in his right palm. In the next moment, Feiren's eyes lit up and his expression became slightly happy. He was worried about where to make a fortune. There were only a few thousand low-grade primordial stones left in his spirit ring. Whether it was primordial stones or demon cores, he was short on materials. The Dragon Eye Clear pill given by Lin Jinan came just in time. After taking the Dragon Eye Clear pill and successfully breaking through to the 7th level of the Star Realm, Feiren's overall strength would greatly increase. He would be able to contend with a true first-level martial master. At the same time, he would finally have the time to study alchemy. He had been cultivating his primordial qi all this time. Feiren's alchemy skills could be said to be stagnant. Although his mental strength had already broken through to the 3rd level of the profound martial realm, he was still stuck at the level of a 2nd-level alchemist. Gulp. Thinking of this, Feiren didn't waste any time. He immediately put the Dragon Eye Clear pill in his palm into his mouth and swallowed it. Damn, it's so bitter. A bitter taste came from the tip of his tongue. Feiren couldn't help but frown slightly. This feeling was like drinking a mixture of 18 kinds of Chinese medicine. It was really difficult to bear. The main ingredient of the Dragon Eye Clear pill was the demon core of the Earth Dragon. The Earth Dragon was a hybrid of the Dragon Clan and the Python Clan. Although it had a trace of the Dragon Clan's bloodline, it wasn't pure. At the same time, the Earth Dragon was a cold-blooded animal. The demon core's attribute was relatively cold and bitter. Therefore, the Dragon Eye Clear pill refined with the demon core of the Earth Dragon as the main ingredient also had this characteristic. Although it exuded a pill fragrance after swallowing it, it tasted like chewing wax. It was very bitter. However, as a martial artist, Fei Ren had experienced countless trials of blood and fire. He had almost walked through the gates of hell several times. Therefore, it was natural for him to suffer a little bit. As the Dragon Eye Clear Pill's rich medicinal power spread in the depths of his abdomen, Fei Ren also felt a warm current gushing out of his body. Then, it rushed to his 8 extraordinary meridians and limbs. At the same time, the primordial qi in his dantian continuously strengthened. It felt like an electric shock. Awesome! Fei Ren couldn't help but cry out loudly. A trace of sweat appeared on Fei Ren's forehead, and at the same time, the origin energy aura on his body also rose steadily, with a swift and violent momentum. The Dragon Eye Emerald Clear Pill deserved to be called the best among the 5th-grade medicinal pills. Moreover, the quality of the Dragon Eye Emerald Clear Pill in his hand was as high as 92%, close to perfection. Needless to say, the medicinal effect was comparable to the panacea in the mouth of the common people. Boom! After an unknown period of time, a faint buzzing sound came from the depths of the pill. In the next moment, Fei Ren let out a long sigh and stood up. 7th-level Star Realm. As he felt his limbs and bones being filled with boundless origin energy, Fei Ren's handsome face couldn't help but reveal a wisp of joy, and his eyes burned with passion. After swallowing a 5th-grade Dragon Eye Clear Pill, his origin energy cultivation finally broke through again, reaching the 7th level of the Star Realm. With the breakthrough in cultivation, Fei Ren's overall strength also rose. Now it was comparable to the 1st level of the Martial Master Realm. If the Dharma Thousand Transformation Technique and the martial art Dharma Fist that he comprehended on his own could be further improved, he would even be able to fight against a 2nd-level Martial Master Realm expert. My cultivation has finally broken through. Next is the cultivation method and martial art. Thinking of this, Fei Ren stroked his chin with a thoughtful expression. The 9th-grade cultivation method he cultivated, the Dharma Thousand Transformation Technique, was obtained from the forbidden area of the Pill Tower in the Imperial City. Until now, it was still at the small success stage. It wasn't that Fei Ren's talent and comprehension were low, but the mysteries of this 9th-grade cultivation method were indeed complex and changeable. It was difficult to master it in a short period of time. Although it was difficult to improve the Dharma Thousand Transformation Technique in a short period of time, martial arts were different. Now that Fei Ren cultivated the Dharma Thousand Transformation Technique, he comprehended the powerful martial art, the Dharma Fist, on his own. Although the Dharma Fist was created based on the Dharma Thousand Transformation Technique, its power was indeed extraordinary. It was comparable to a 5th-grade martial art. Moreover, Fei Ren had a premonition that if he could cultivate the Dharma Fist to the perfect stage, the power of this martial art would increase by several times. It would be comparable to a 6th-grade martial art. Dharma Fist. Suddenly, strands of golden origin energy appeared on his right arm, as if it was shrouded in golden light. In the next moment, Fei Ren swung his fist to the side and immediately blasted out a golden fist force. Boom! The golden fist force pierced through the air and landed heavily on the opposite wall of the room, instantly leaving a deep hole. The surrounding origin energy lingered for a long time without dissipating. Its power was terrifying. This move is indeed powerful. I'm really a genius. After witnessing the terrifying power of the Dharma Fist, Fei Ren was stunned at first. Then, he became overjoyed and laughed loudly. This was only a casual punch. He hadn't used his full strength, only 30% of it. However, its power was enough to instantly kill any martial artist below the 7th level of the Star Realm. From this, one could see the terrifying power of the Dharma Fist. However, I have to find a spacious place. Otherwise, the destructive power and commotion will be too great. Slowly withdrawing his origin energy and fist, Fei Ren pondered for a moment. In the next moment, he turned around and quietly left the room, running toward the outside world. There were about 3 months before the Heavenly Origin Pool competition officially began. It was enough time for him to cultivate the Dharma Fist and the Dharma 1000 transformation technique. As soon as he arrived at the city's inner street, he heard a commotion not far away. He saw 2 groups of people facing each other. The atmosphere was tense. There were a few familiar faces, including the Lin family's guard captain, Qin Gang. "What's going on?" Feiren narrowed his eyes. In the next moment, he walked toward the group of people. "Qin Gang, don't be so shameless. This jade pendant is mine. If you know what's good for you, you'd better get out of here." Beside the group of people, a handsome and arrogant young man in blue sneered. At this moment, he was playing with an ancient-looking jade pendant in his right hand. At the same time, he looked at Qin Gang, who was not far away, with a trace of disdain and contempt in his eyes. "Second young Master Lu, if you insist on taking that jade pendant, I have no objections. However, don't you think it's a little too much to hurt someone over such a trivial matter? Moreover, my subordinate is so badly injured. If you don't apologize, we won't leave." In the face of the young man in blue's provocation, Qin Gang immediately suppressed his anger. Then, he pointed at a severely injured guard of the Lin family. At the same time, he gritted his teeth and spoke, as if he didn't want to give up so easily. The young man in blue was called Lu Yunying. He was a direct descendant of the Lu family, one of the 3 major families. His cultivation was not weak, having reached level 9 star state. At the same time, he was the cousin of the current Lu family's young master, Lu Xuanyu. He had a high status in the Lu family, and was known as the second young master Lu. In addition, Lu Yunying's character was exactly the same as Lu Xuanyu's. They were both arrogant and overbearing. In Black Rock City, except for the Chao family, no one dared to provoke him, fearing that he and the Lu family would take revenge on them. "Apologize? Are you kidding me? Qin Gang, if it weren't for the Lin family, I wouldn't have let him off so easily. You're just the Lin family's lackeys. How dare you ask me to apologize? Do you think I'll give you face?" Faced with Qin Gang's questioning, Lu Yunying still sneered and spoke in a mocking tone. Then, he looked at the injured guard of the Lin family with a murderous look in his eyes. Obviously, this was premeditated, and the jade pendant was only an excuse for him to hurt the guard. "Captain, why don't we just let it go? He's the second young master of the Lu family. We can't afford to offend him." At this moment the atmosphere was tense. The injured guard of the Lin family spoke in a weak voice as he looked up at Qin Gang in front of him. As the captain of the Lin family's guards, Qin Gang had always been loyal and righteous. He treated his subordinates the same way. Therefore, he was loved and respected by the Lin family's guards. However, this was a special situation. Lu Yunying was the second son of the Lu family. Not only was he strong, but he also held a high position in the Lu family. They were mere guards of the Lin family, and couldn't afford to offend him. All they could do was swallow their pride. Chapter 295. Damn it! Qin Gang's face alternated between red and blue in the face of his subordinate's admonishment. Indeed, as his subordinate had said, he couldn't afford to offend Lu Yunying. However, as the captain of the Lin family's guards and a 9th-level Star Realm expert, he didn't even dare to say a word. In the end, he could only leave with his tail between his legs. Qin Gang didn't like this feeling and couldn't tolerate it. "Blockhead, didn't you hear what second young Master Lu said? Get out of here, or I'll take care of you too." Another young man from the Lu family came up and shouted. At the same time, he rolled up his sleeves and flashed his fists with a vicious look on his face. This young man from the Lu family didn't have a strong origin power cultivation. He was only about 7th level Star Realm, far weaker than Qin Gang, who was 9th level Star Realm. However, relying on Lu Yunying's power, this young man from the Lu family didn't take Qin Gang seriously at all. His words were full of disdain, as if he was looking at trash. After all, Lu Yunying was also a 9th-level Star Realm expert and a genius of the Lu family's younger generation. His overall strength was even stronger than Qin Gang, the captain of the Lin family's guards. Little bastard from the Lu family! How dare you talk to our captain like that? Do you want to die? Do you think the Lin family is a pushover? At this moment, even though Qin Gang was able to endure the ridicule of the Lu family members, the Lin family guards behind him were unable to remain calm. Instantly they were enraged. Immediately, a skinny and tall youth stepped forward. At the same time, strands of violent yuan power gushed out from his body. Qin Gang? Isn't he the captain of the Lin family's guards? I heard he's quite strong. Sigh, so what if he's strong? That young man in blue isn't someone to be trifled with either. He's the second young master of the Lu family, Lu Yunying. His strength and status are second only to the young master of the Lu family, Lu Xuanyu. He's also a ruthless person. I didn't expect the Lu family and the Lin family to fight again. As one of the 3 major families of Black Rock City, this is going to be a good show. At this time, seeing Qin Gang and the other Lu family young lords confronting Lu Yunying and the other Lu family young lords on the street, the surrounding cultivators began to discuss animatedly. The air was filled with the smell of gunpowder, and it seemed like the 2 sides would fight at any moment. You want to fight? Upon seeing this, Lu Yunying put away the jade pendant with a flip of his hand. Then, he stepped forward. In the next moment, a powerful aura also swept out. In an instant, it overshadowed the tall and skinny youth, causing the latter to involuntarily take a few steps back. If we can cripple this group of people, it would be equivalent to cutting off one of the Lin family's left and right arms. If Big Brother Xian Yu and the master of the Lin family knew about this, they would be very happy. As Lu Yunying thought to himself, the killing intent in his eyes grew even more apparent. This conflict was originally planned by him. When he saw Qin Gang and the others attack in anger, it was exactly what he wanted. Captain Qin, you seem to have encountered a few vicious dogs. At this moment, a man's indifferent voice came from not far away. Then, an afterimage cut through the air and landed in front of everyone in the next moment. His face was calm and composed. It was Fei Ren. Brother Fei Ren? Seeing that it was Fei Ren, Qin Gang, who was originally frowning, was taken aback. Then, he exclaimed in surprise. This person was the benefactor of the Lin family. Previously, when he defeated the Black Cloud Stockade bandits in the Katar Desert, he had saved Qin Gang, Lin Shuai, and the others. Even though they had not seen each other for a few days, Qin Gang would never forget this person. Take your men and retreat to the side. I will deal with this guy. Glancing at Qin Gang, Fei Ren nodded indifferently. He had already heard the whole story from the side. Since Lu Yunying wanted to find fault with him, he did not mind teaching him an unforgettable lesson. He had received a Dragon Eye Clear Pill from Lin Jinan and a baptism slot from the Lin family in the Heavenly Cloud Pool. Naturally, he had to return the favor. Vicious dogs. On the other side, seeing Fei Ren suddenly appear, Lu Yunying's face darkened. His eyes were like vultures. He had also heard Fei Ren's indirect insults. Brat, who are you? How dare you call us vicious dogs? How dare you? Second young master, let me teach him a lesson. At this moment, not only Lu Yunying, but the other disciples of the Lu family were also filled with righteous indignation. They were furious and seemed to want to rush up and teach Fei Ren a lesson. This brat's aura is very strange. He looks no different from an ordinary person, but there is something different about him. He is obviously a martial artist. I can't see through him. How is this possible? Lu Yunying squinted his eyes and looked at the proud and calm Fei Ren. At this moment, Lu Yunying's heart skipped a beat. Then, his face turned solemn. Although he was arrogant and impulsive, he was no fool. After realizing that he could not see through Fei Ren's strength, he did not immediately attack. Die! Brat, die! However, although Lu Yunying did not attack, the disciples of the Lu family could not hold back their anger. They channeled their primary force and rushed toward Fei Ren. Brother! Be careful! Faced with the joint attack of the Lu family disciples, a Lin family guard cried out in alarm. His expression changed slightly, as if he did not expect the opponent to be so arrogant as to attack in broad daylight. Bang! Accompanied by a series of muffled explosions, countless Yuan energy attacks ruthlessly landed on Fei Ren's body, sweeping up a monstrous wave of air. This brat is too arrogant. He actually took the joint attack of so many people. Does he think he is one of the 3 geniuses of Black Rock City? At this moment, seeing Fei Ren take the joint attack of so many Lu family disciples head-on, one of the spectators stared with his mouth agape. What? He is unscathed. However, to the surprise of the disciples of the Lu family and the disbanded cultivators, Fei Ren was still standing in the same place after the waves of residual power dissipated. His gray robe was slightly messy, but he was not injured at all. It's my turn. Fei Ren patted the dust off his robe. In the next moment, he looked at the Lu family disciples and said calmly. At the same time, he disappeared. Oh no! Seeing Fei Ren's figure disappear, Lu Yunying's heart skipped a beat, and he cried out in alarm. Ah! However, it was all too late. Fei Ren's figure shuttled back and forth among the Lu clan disciples. Every time he attacked, there would be a burst of blood and a gust of wind. The Lu clan disciples all let out blood-curdling screams, and in the end, they all fell down one after another without any ability to resist. Boom! With another punch, a Lu family disciple, who was at level 8 star realm, was sent flying backward with blood spurting out of his mouth. In the next moment, Fei Ren stopped and looked at Lu Yunying silently. His voice was cold and emotionless. Kneel down and apologize or die. Chapter 296. You. Who the hell are you? Lu Yunying's heart tightened when he saw Fei Ren's murderous aura. His originally overbearing aura suddenly weakened, and he involuntarily took a few steps back. Although Fei Ren's aura was only at the 7th level of the star realm, the murderous aura he exuded was too strong. For a martial artist to possess such a strong murderous aura, it was obvious that his hands were stained with blood, and he had stepped on thousands of bones. Who the hell is this kid? Only Chao Ling from the Chao family can match his aura. How is this possible? Lu Yunying's battle intent dropped sharply when he thought of this. His gloomy eyes started to flicker. I don't want to repeat myself, however. In the next moment, Fei Ren's cold and emotionless voice sounded again. Although Lu Yunying was a direct descendant of the Lu family, one of the 3 major families in Black Rock City, he was nothing in Lu Yunying's eyes. If it weren't for the martial master experts behind the Lu family, Lu Yunying could have easily killed Lu Yunying. Although you're powerful, you're still far from our young master, Lu Xuanyu. Lu Yunying looked at Fei Ren with a hint of fear in his eyes. However, he didn't stop talking. He mustered up his courage and sneered. Moreover, these people are just the lackeys of the Lin family. So what if I cripple them? Lastly, I advise you to be sensible and not invite trouble for yourself. If you insist on interfering, the Lu family is not to be trifled with. He was backed by the Grade 8 Lu family, one of the 3 major families in Black Rock City. Therefore, Lu Yunying was confident that Lu Yunying wouldn't dare to attack him. Lu family, Lu Xuanyu. Fei Ren narrowed his eyes in response to Lu Yunying's threat. When he, Lin Shuai, and the others had just returned to Black Rock City, they had coincidentally bumped into Lu Xuanyu. Fei Ren naturally didn't like the arrogant and overbearing young master of the Lu family. Moreover, Lu Xuanyu was Lu Xuanyu's cousin, the second young master of the Lu family. Good chance. When Lu Yunying saw that Fei Ren was frozen in place, revealing an opening, he leapt into action, his right hand striking out in front of him. Shua! Surging yuan qi swept out, instantly transforming into a red palm energy, rapidly blasting towards Fei Ren's vital point in his abdomen. Die! A cruel glint flashed across Lu Yunying's eyes as he laughed harshly. At such a close distance, it would be difficult for an ordinary martial artist to dodge. He was also confident that Fei Ren would not be able to escape this palm and would be severely injured. Bang! Before the red palm energy could land on Fei Ren's body, it instantly dissipated and turned into a mass of nothingness. Fei Ren stretched out his left hand. Traces of yuan power could be seen lingering in the area between his thumb and index finger. Surprisingly, he had crushed Lu Yunying's crimson palm attack without suffering any injuries. It was as if he had done it casually. What? Lu Yunying's eyes widened in shock when he saw that his attack had been neutralized. He had thought that Fei Ren was just lucky, but now it seemed that he had greatly underestimated him. His opponent did indeed have the strength to defeat or even kill him. To be honest, you've pissed me off. Glancing at Lu Yunying, Fei Ren's murderous aura increased instead of decreasing. At the same time, a vicious glint flashed across his eyes. Brother Fei Ren. Sensing Fei Ren's murderous aura, Qin Gang's expression changed slightly. If Fei Ren really killed Lu Yunying on the street, the Lu family would not let the matter rest, and Fei Ren would suffer endless revenge from the Lu family. You! How dare you attack me? Don't you know that I'm a direct descendant of the Lu family? Ah! Before he could finish his sentence, Lu Yunying let out a blood-curdling scream and fell to his knees with a pained expression on his face. Fei Ren had broken his entire right arm on the spot. It was now twisted together like a fried dough twist. His meridians and bones were broken inch by inch, and crackling sounds could be heard. In an instant, his arm was covered in blood and splattered to the ground. This kid is ruthless. Seeing that Fei Ren had broken Lu Yunying's arm on the spot, the rogue martial artists in the crowd looked at each other in dismay. After all, the Lu family was one of the 3 major families in Black Rock City, and they had several martial masters backing them up. Ordinary martial artists would not dare to provoke them. However, Fei Ren had clearly broken everyone's expectations. He had actually dared to pull a tooth out of a tiger's mouth. Brother Fei Ren, I'm very grateful that you've avenged my subordinate. However, Lu Yunying is the second young master of the Lu family, Lu Xuanyu's cousin. If Lu Xuanyu finds out that you crippled him, Lu Xuanyu and the Lu family behind him won't let you off easily. With a grave expression, Qin Gang helped the injured Lin family guard up. Then, he looked at Fei Ren and said uneasily, It's fine. If the Lu family dares to come, I'll make sure they don't leave alive. Faced with Qin Gang's concern, Fei Ren shook his head. His expression was still calm, as if he was confident that his strength had increased. In the next moment, he turned around and left quietly. Second young master. Seeing that Fei Ren had finally left, the injured Lu family disciples felt as if they had been pardoned. They hurried forward to help Lu Yunying, who was unconscious and covered in blood, up. Their faces were filled with fear. Lu Yunying's right arm had been crippled. There was no way he could recover it unless he had a spirit pill of grade 5 or above. As a martial artist, losing all 4 of his limbs would greatly affect his strength. Lu Yunying's original cultivation base was at the 9th level of the Star Realm. However, after losing his right arm, his strength was greatly reduced. He was now weaker than an 8th-level Star Realm martial artist. The Lu family in a deep courtyard. Crack! The sound of a teacup shattering suddenly rang out. Lu Yunying was lying on the ground with a weak aura and a pale face. A white-robed old man was standing in front of him. His aged face was filled with anger, and his eyes were bloodshot. Who hurt Cloudhawk? The white-robed old man's voice was as gloomy as stagnant water. At the same time, he released a powerful and domineering aura that deterred others from approaching him. It's a rogue cultivator called Feyrin. This person seems to be related to the Lin family. A middle-aged man in front of the white-robed old man trembled as he spoke. At the same time, he knelt on the ground as if he didn't dare to look directly at the white-robed old man in front of him. Feyrin, the Lin family, I'll make you pay in blood. The white-robed old man snorted coldly. His murky eyes were filled with killing intent. At the same time, in the Chow family. What did you say? Lu Yunying was crippled in the middle of the street? In the hall, a purple-clothed woman's eyes widened slightly. Then, she looked at a young guard who was half kneeling on the ground, and asked in surprise. Yes, young mistress. Nodding his head, the young guard spoke with a respectful tone. Who did it? The purple-clothed woman's beautiful eyes darted around as she asked again. After all, the person who had crippled Lu Yunying with a single move was definitely powerful. He or she might not be weaker than a 10th-level Star Realm martial artist. I don't know. I only know that the person seems to be an expert invited by the Lin family. I think his name is Feyrin or something. In response to the purple-clothed woman's question, the young guard replied respectfully with a look of reverence. She was the daughter of the Chow family, the current head of the Chow family, Chao Chuanwu's daughter. She was extremely talented and powerful. Even among the younger generation of the three great families in Black Rock City, she was quite famous. Naturally, he didn't dare to slight her. All right, I understand. You can leave now. Hearing this, Chao Ling waved her hand and gestured for the guard to leave. Yes, young mistress. The young guard cupped his hands together again and slowly left. So it's external aid invited by the Lin family. I've finally met an opponent. Feyrin, I hope you won't disappoint me, Chao Ling thought to herself. In the next moment, the corners of her mouth curled up. A burning desire to battle appeared on her delicate face. Chapter 297. News of Lu Yunying being crippled on the street had not only spread throughout Black Rock City, it had even caused a storm within the Lu family and Chow family. However, Feyrin was unaware of any of this. He continued to focus on his cultivation. Outside Black Rock City, in a mountain range, I have already mastered the essence of the Dharma Fist, but the power of this martial art has yet to reach its limit. With a punch, a strong gust of wind howled and instantly shattered a huge tree. In the next moment, Feyrin exhaled slightly and pondered. The Dharma Fist was a martial art that he had created based on the Dharma Thousand transformation technique. Its power was definitely top-notch. However, Feyrin's mastery of this fist technique was not deep enough. In other words, he was not proficient enough. In order to cultivate a martial art to the point of perfection, in addition to the cultivator's innate talent and comprehension, time was also essential. Even with Feyrin's innate talent and comprehension, it would take him at least 2 weeks to cultivate the Dharma Fist to the minor completion realm. Fortunately, there were still more than 3 months before the start of the Heavenly Yuan Pool competition. It was enough time for Feyrin to break through to the minor completion realm of the Dharma Fist. Swoosh! Wisps of golden origin power appeared on both of his arms. In the next moment, Feyrin leaped out and instantly soared into the sky. Dharma Thousand transformation technique. His entire arm glowed with a golden light. At this moment, the origin power aura on Feyrin's body rose again and again. In the blink of an eye, it rose to the level of a LV-1 martial master. His aura was terrifying. His origin power cultivation was merely at LV-7 star realm, but his strength was comparable to a LV-1 martial master expert. In this world, there was probably no one else other than Feyrin. Dharma Fist. In the next moment, Feyrin, who was in the sky, also threw a punch at the ground. In an instant, a golden light shone and a golden fist force swept out. It was like the roar of a furious dragon, causing people's hearts to palpitate. Bang! Rumble! The golden fist force fell straight down, like the autumn wind sweeping away fallen leaves, fiercely smashing into the dense forest below. Accompanied by a series of rumbling sounds, the dense forest below Fei Ren's feet was also instantly razed to the ground. The surroundings were in a mess, and only traces of Yuan power remained. The Dharma fist has finally reached the small success stage. Withdrawing his hand, the Yuan power in his palm slowly dissipated. In the next moment, a trace of joy appeared on Fei Ren's face. Now that the Dharma fist had broken through to the minor completion realm, it meant that his strength had improved again. He could kill a LV-1 martial master or even contend with a LV-2 martial master. One had to know that defeating and killing were two different concepts. When Fei Ren's cultivation had broken through to the 7th level star realm, he had only possessed the strength to contend with a first-level martial master. However, he wasn't completely confident that he could kill his opponent. After all, when one's Yuan power cultivation reached the martial master realm, in addition to being able to fly, the strength of a martial artist's Yuan power and physique would increase by more than a few times. Martial artists of the same level would find it difficult to kill their opponent unless the difference in strength was too great. Next, it's time to cultivate the technique. After the Dharma fist had broken through, Fei Ren didn't relax. He continued to cultivate the Dharma 1000 conversion technique. The Dharma 1000 conversion technique had been stuck at the small success stage for a long time. If he could break through again and step into the large success stage, the power of Fei Ren's Dharma Golden Arm would increase greatly. After all, the Dharma Golden Arm was the embryonic form of the acquired tyrant body, the Dharma Golden Buddha body. It was still incomplete. When the Dharma 1000 conversion technique reached the large success stage, the Dharma Golden Arm would undergo a qualitative change and evolve into the true acquired tyrant body, the Dharma Golden Buddha body. Its power would increase greatly. Unknowingly, a month had passed. After this period of secluded cultivation, Fei Ren's Dharma 1000 transformation technique had finally achieved a breakthrough as he wished, stepping into the large success stage. The Dharma Golden Arm that he had originally cultivated had also greatly increased in strength, undergoing a qualitative change, evolving into the stronger Dharma Golden Body. The Dharma Golden Body was different from the Dharma Golden Arm. Other than the increase in power, the martial artist's body would be enveloped by a layer of scarlet golden light after using it. It was as if the martial monk Dharma had possessed the body. Not only could one's physical body withstand high-grade spirit treasures, one could also break a mountain with one's bare hands, blocking the flow of rivers. However, with Fei Ren's current cultivation strength, it was obvious that he couldn't do that. With the current strength of his body, he could only withstand spirit treasures below the 5th grade. If he wanted to achieve an indestructible golden body that was impervious to fire and water, or even break a mountain with his bare hands, he would have to at least break through the large success stage of the Dharma 1000 conversion technique or step into the martial spirit realm. It's time to go back. After finishing his cultivation, the golden light slowly dissipated. Fei Ren immediately spat out a mouthful of turbid air. At the same time, a pair of Yuan power wings condensed behind his back and he flew towards the nearby Black Rock City. Black Rock City, Lin family courtyard. Brother Fei Ren, you've finally appeared. I've been looking for you for a long time. Just as he stepped through the door, he saw a tall figure walking towards him with a smile. It was the Lin family's young master, Lin Shuai, whom he hadn't seen for a long time. Brother, why are you looking for me? Seeing that it was Lin Shuai, Fei Ren also stopped in his tracks. After this secluded cultivation, Fei Ren's next step was to obtain some elixir materials and demon cores. At the same time, he would train his alchemy skills. After all, his mental strength had already broken through to the 3rd layer of the profound martial realm. However, his alchemy skills were still stuck at the 2nd grade. Compared to his Yuan power cultivation, Fei Ren's alchemy skills were a little awkward. It was like a shortcoming. Therefore, he decided to visit the Lin family this time. He planned to inquire about the locations of good quality materials and demon cores from them. After all, the Lin family was one of the 3 major families in Black Rock City. It's not a big deal. It's just that the Black Rock auction is coming soon and it will attract a lot of cultivators. I wonder if you're interested? Lin Shui scratched his head and smiled. His tone was filled with emotion. It seemed like the Black Rock auction had a big background. Black Rock auction? Hearing this, Fei Ren's face was slightly surprised. Yes, the Black Rock auction is a large-scale auction organized by the Tianxia Chamber of Commerce. It's held about once a year and there are all kinds of items sold. The prices are quite high. There are even many treasures from ancient ruins and ancient sections. Every year, it attracts a lot of cultivators from the vicinity of Black Rock City. It can be said to be a mix of good and bad. Other than that, the Black Rock auction doesn't have any requirements for the auction items. Even if it's some unknown stolen goods or demon cultivation techniques, as long as someone is willing to pay a high price, it will be auctioned off on the spot. Therefore, I plan to try my luck at the Black Rock auction and see if I can find some treasures. Nodding his head, Lin Shui continued. For him, it was impossible for his yuan power cultivation to have a breakthrough in a short period of time. However, if they could obtain a good spiritual treasure or martial art from the Black Rock auction, their Lin clan would have a better chance of winning in the Heavenly Yuan Pool competition 3 months later. Chapter 298. Thus, the importance of the Black Boulder auction could be seen. Not only Lin Shui, but the Black Boulder auction was also an opportunity for Fei Ren. He still had a lot of demonic beast materials that he had yet to sell. If he sold all of them, he would be able to get a large amount of primordial stones. To a martial artist, primordial stones were the only hard currency. As long as he had a large amount of primordial stones, Fei Ren would not have to worry about not being able to find good treasures in the Black Boulder auction. That's right, Marshal Lin. The scale of this Black Lava auction is so big and they dare to auction all kinds of treasures. They don't reject anyone who comes. Isn't the organizer afraid that some people with ulterior motives will covet the treasures and secretly attack them? Suddenly thinking of something, Fei Ren asked again. After all, the Black Boulder auction was held once a year and its scale was not small. Basically, the treasures on display in the auction were all extraordinary and valuable. It would definitely attract the greed of some people. And in the world of martial artists, there was never a lack of murderers and outlaws. As long as the benefits and temptation were great enough, even if it was a mountain of swords or a pit of fire, there would be people who would dare to jump into it. Brother Fei Ren, your consideration is not without reason. However, the organizer of the Black Boulder auction is the famous Tianxia Chamber of Commerce. In the entire Great Ming Dynasty, the Tianxia Chamber of Commerce is one of the top existences. Moreover, their reputation is widespread and their background is very powerful. Rumor has it that the Tianxia Chamber of Commerce has several martial spirit realm experts in charge. Their president is also a martial king realm expert. Therefore, there are basically no martial artists or forces that dare to provoke the Tianxia Chamber of Commerce. In addition, there are also rumors in the underworld that the Tianxia Chamber of Commerce's background is at least not weaker than a rank 6 force. Not to mention other things, at least in the territory of Black Boulder City, no one dares to not give face to the Tianxia Chamber of Commerce, not to mention snatching the auction items. That is simply courting death. As if sensing Fei Ren's doubts, Lin Shui shook his head and said at the same time. So that's how it is. From the looks of it, the background of the World Chamber of Commerce is indeed not small. Hearing this, Fei Ren deeply agreed, and a trace of seriousness also appeared on his face. After all, the World Chamber of Commerce was an existence that was not weaker than a sixth-grade force. Presumably, there would not be many people who would dare to cause trouble. This action was tantamount to seeking death. That's right. Furthermore, the Tianxia Chamber of Commerce under Black Rock City isn't the headquarters. It's just a branch under their command. Nodding his head, Lin Shuai said, "The current headquarters of the World Chamber of Commerce is located in the center of the Great Ming Dynasty, the Great Ming Imperial Capital. Although the World Chamber of Commerce's influence is spread throughout the entire Great Ming Dynasty, it is only driven by profit. Thus, the Great Ming Dynasty's Yi clan also turns a blind eye to their development and growth. They even have the intention of trying to rope them in. Most of the experts of the World Chamber of Commerce are gathered in the Great Ming Empire's capital. Only a small number of experts are assigned to the various branches to maintain the prestige and safety of the World Chamber of Commerce while earning a lot of benefit. This World Chamber of Commerce is indeed a giant. Even the Great Ming Dynasty's Yi clan doesn't dare to underestimate them." Taking a deep breath, Fei Ren's eyes couldn't help but flash with a glimmer of light. He had a feeling in his heart that he was going to be rich soon. Putting aside the fact that the World Chamber of Commerce had a strong foundation, at least he could finally sell his things. Currently, Fei Ren still had a green-striped red snake and a fire spirit bear's magic core in his hands, as well as a large amount of magic beast materials. He was just worried that he didn't have a place to sell these materials at a high price, and the World Chamber of Commerce in front of him was the spendthrift that he was looking for. "Brother Fei Ren, you seem to be very interested in the people of the World Chamber of Commerce?" Looking at Fei Ren's expression and reaction, Lin Shuai asked again. After all, the Black Rock City's auction that was held once a year was organized by the Tianxia Chamber of Commerce, a rank 6 force. There were very few martial artists who wouldn't be interested in this giant existence of the Great Ming Dynasty. That's a rank 6 force with countless martial spirit realm expert. It would be a lie to say that I'm not interested. Although the Black Rock City is only a branch of the World Chamber of Commerce, it can still massacre the entire Black Rock City. Even if your 3 families join forces, you won't have any power to resist. Grinning, Fei Ren didn't refute. After all, with the World Chamber of Commerce's foundation, they did have the ability to do so. That's right, the current president of the Black Rock City's branch is called Shaoan. This person is a half-step to martial spirit realm expert. Although he hasn't stepped into the true martial spirit realm, his strength is still not bad. Ordinary martial masters are as weak as mud in his eyes and can be easily killed. Looking emotional, Lin Shuai spoke again slowly, as if the Shaoan he mentioned was a true expert. His tone was full of reverence. "Black Rock City's auction, I will rely on you to make a fortune," Fei Ren thought in his heart as he deeply agreed. "By the way, Brother Fei, your strength," at this moment, Lin Shuai seemed to have noticed that Fei Ren's origin energy aura was different from before. It had become stronger, and Lin Shuai's face was slightly surprised. "Thanks to your father's Dragon Eye Clear pill, I was lucky enough to break through." Facing Lin Shuai's surprised expression, Fei Ren coughed dryly, then grinned. Although the Dragon Eye Clear pill could help a high-star realm expert break through one level, most high-star realm experts wouldn't choose to consume it immediately. After all, this pill was too precious. Normally, they would save it until the end, or only consume it when they broke through to the 10th level of the star realm. This way, the effects of the pill would be maximized. However, Fei Ren didn't want to wait. After all, his Dantian had merged with the immortal refining cauldron, so there was no such thing as a martial path bottleneck. Every time he broke through, he would consume several times more origin energy than an ordinary expert. Therefore, the Dragon Eye Clear pill, which could allow one to break through one level of cultivation, was a grade 5 pill. I originally thought that Brother Fei would save this pill and consume it when you break through to the 9th or 10th level of the Star Realm to maximize the effects of the Dragon Eye Clear pill. Now, it seems that I was overthinking. From the looks of it, Brother Fei is an open-minded person. Hearing this, Lin Shuai agreed and laughed dryly. After all, the Lin clan had invited Fei Ren as a foreign expert. Fei Ren's performance in the Heavenly Yuan Pool competition 3 months later would also affect the Lin clan's development prospect. It would also affect the Lin clan's status as one of the top 3 clans. Now that Fei Ren had broken through, the Lin clan would benefit greatly. After all, in the Heavenly Yuan Pool competition 3 months later, their opponents would be the top young geniuses of the 3 great clans. In addition to Lu Xuanyu and the others from the Lu clan, there would also be the top genius of the Chao clan, Chao Ling, who had stepped into the half-step martial master realm several years ago. Brother, you must be joking. Origin stones and pills are just worldly possessions. Compared to these, the improvement of one's strength is more important. Moreover, the Heavenly Yuan Pool competition will begin in 3 months. I don't want to have any regrets. After he finished speaking, Fei Ren grinned and said, "That's right." Chapter 299. Tomorrow is the day of the Black Rock auction. If Brother Fei Ren doesn't mind, we can go together. As one of the 3 major families in Black Rock City, our Lin family is considered a regular customer of the World Chamber of Commerce. We can directly book an Earth-ranked luxury room and not have to squeeze in the first floor of the auction. Lin Shuai nodded his head and continued. Every year, the World Chamber of Commerce would hold a large-scale auction in Black Rock City. Although the World Chamber of Commerce in Black Rock City was only a small branch, its foundation and scale were not small. The entire auction site could accommodate tens of thousands of martial artists. At the same time, the auction site was divided into 3 floors. The first floor was the most spacious, and most of the martial artists and rogue cultivators who were going to the auction site would gather in the first floor. As for warriors with a certain level of strength and status, or powerful forces like the Lin family, an 8th-grade family, they could book the luxurious rooms on the 2nd and 3rd floors. These luxurious rooms were equally spacious. Not only could they avoid having too many people, but they also had staff from the World Chamber of Commerce to provide services, which could be called a symbol of strength and status. Of course. But Brother Lin, since it's an auction, it doesn't matter what room it is. Hearing this, Fei Ren nodded slightly and asked. According to Lin Shuai's words, there seemed to be something more to it. It's a little different. As he spoke, Lin Shuai immediately took out a shiny silver card from his spirit ring and said, "This is called the World Silver Card. The World Chamber of Commerce specially gives it to powerful martial artists or families. The person who owns this card can not only book the Earth-ranked luxury room on the 2nd floor, but also enjoy a certain discount when purchasing items in the auction. The lowest discount is 10%. World Silver Card, this aura. Is it a formation?" Fei Ren's gaze fell on the silver card in Lin Shuai's mouth. He was stunned and squinted his eyes. From this silver card, he could sense a trace of the aura of a formation. It seemed to be some kind of miniature formation. It was very mysterious. That's right. There's a miniature formation set up by President Xiaoen. Not only can it verify the card holder's identity, it can also prevent it from being used by others. Lin Shuai grinned and nodded his head when he saw the astonished expression on Fei Ren's face. It was as though he was already used to it. Not only is he a half-step to martial spirit realm expert, but he is also a formation master. To be able to set up such a mysterious miniature formation, it must be a very harsh test for a martial artist's mental strength. From the looks of it, Xiaoen is also a ruthless character. His spiritual power attainments are only high. It's no wonder that you're able to oversee the World Chamber of Commerce's Black Lava branch. At the same time, No one dares to disturb you. Hearing this, Fei Ren also deeply agreed. President Zhao's strength can be considered as the #1 person in Black Rock City. In the entire Black Rock City, his position is similar to Great Master Gu's. However, Great Master Gu is a Tier 5 alchemist and rarely participates in any power struggles. He only focuses on refining pills. However, it's a pity that our Lin family only has a silver card from the World Chamber of Commerce. We have never received a gold card from them. If we had a gold card from the World Chamber of Commerce, not only would we be able to go to the 3rd floor's Heaven Room, we would also be able to enjoy a 30% discount and save a large amount of primeval stones. Nodding his head, Lin Shuai immediately kept the silver card. A trace of pity appeared on his pale face. Although their Lin family was now one of the 3 great families in Black Rock City, they were gradually declining. It was already quite rare for them to have a silver card from the World Chamber of Commerce. As for a gold card from the World Chamber of Commerce, they did not even dare to think about it. In the entire Black Rock City, only the head of the 3 great families, the Chao family, currently had a gold card from the World Chamber of Commerce. After all, the Chao family had been developing rapidly these past few years. In order to earn more profits, the World Chamber of Commerce was willing to sell some benefits to the other party. Not long after, Fei Ren left the Lin family and headed straight for a marketplace in the center of Black Rock City. After all, before the Black Rock City auction officially began tomorrow, he still had to sell the magical beast materials and the 2 high-level monster cores. Otherwise, with the few thousand low-grade primeval stones in his spirit ring, he would not even be able to buy a single Tier 4 pill, let alone treasure hunting. If he did not have enough primeval stones, it would be a tragedy if he missed out on a good treasure during the Black Rock City auction. Passing through an unending stream of people, Fei Ren immediately arrived at the entrance of a marketplace. This should be the place. Raising his head to confirm that he was not mistaken, Fei Ren stepped into the marketplace. In Black Rock City, other than the World Chamber of Commerce's branches, there were many other marketplaces scattered around the city. These marketplaces were all specialized in serving warriors. Most of them had the backing of the World Chamber of Commerce. Hence, he was not worried that the other party would not recognize the goods. As long as the treasure in his hand was real, he would not have to worry about not being able to sell it. "Sir, are you here to buy or sell?" Just as he stepped into the marketplace, a young maid walked towards him. The young maid had an oval face and willowy eyebrows. At the same time, she was wearing a tight cheongsam. She looked extremely beautiful. However, Fei Ren did not have the time to appreciate her beauty. He only nodded and said, "I'm here to sell a batch of magical beast materials and monster cores. They are of the profound high level and above." Magical beast materials and monster cores of the profound high level and above? Hearing this, the young maid's pretty face was also slightly surprised. Then, she respectfully bowed towards Fei Ren and said, "Your Excellency, please follow me." Although Fei Ren looked very young, the fact that he had the materials and magic cores of high-grade mystic-level demonic beasts in his possession meant that his cultivation was definitely not low. He was at least at the 8th level of the Star Realm, or even stronger. Therefore, the young maid subconsciously treated the Fei Ren in front of her as a rare guest. Naturally, she did not dare to slight him. A few minutes later, Fei Ren followed the young maid and walked left and right, finally arriving at a separate room. The area of the room was not large. On the opposite side, there was a row of iron windows, which happened to divide the room into 2. Behind the iron window sat a white-haired old man wearing glasses and a gray robe. The white-haired old man's face was old, and he looked like a person with one foot in the grave. "Sir, what items do you want to sell?" "Just leave them here." Seeing Fei Ren come over, the white-haired old man stretched out his skinny hand and gently knocked on the table under the iron window. There was a hole on the table under the iron window. It seemed to be used for transactions, and it was very convenient. Elder Mu, I've brought him here. I'll take my leave first. On the side, the young maid also bowed to the white-haired old man behind the iron window. In the next moment, the young maid also quietly left, leaving Fei Ren alone in the room. The goods are all here. As for the price, we can talk about it slowly. He took out a bulging linen package from the spirit ring on his finger, and in the next moment, Fei Ren handed it to the iron window opposite him. Some magical beast materials, huh? These snake scales can be used to make spirit treasure armor. Not bad. This is the monster core of a green striped red snake, right? The quality is not bad. Wait, this is? A fire spirit bear monster core that is infinitely close to the spirit rank. After opening the package, the white-haired old man also adjusted the glasses on the bridge of his nose, and then slowly inspected the goods. However, in the next moment, his expression froze, and at the same time, his skinny right hand tightly held a rhombus-shaped crystal that was completely red. His eyes were filled with surprise. Chapter 300. A spiritual rank magical beast was comparable to a martial master expert. The value of its demon core was naturally not low. Although the fire spirit bear demon core in Fei Ren's hand was not a true spiritual rank demon core, it was not far off. It was several times more valuable than an ordinary peak profound rank demon core. That was why the white-haired old man was so surprised. After all, to be able to obtain a fire spirit bear demon core that was comparable to a low spiritual rank magical beast, it was enough to show that Fei Ren's strength was not weak. He was not weaker than a half-step martial master, and the Fei Ren in front of him looked very young in terms of appearance and bone age. At such a young age, he already had the cultivation of a half-step martial master. At this moment, the white-haired old man could not help but feel a chill in his heart. He thought that the other party was a junior from a large family or sect. The things in your hands are not bad. I have appraised countless treasures and will definitely give you a satisfactory price. After slowly putting away the fire spirit bear demon core in his hand, the white-haired old man said in a serious tone. He had also roughly counted just now. Although there were not many things in the bag that Fei Ren handed over, they were all extraordinary. They were all high-grade magical beast materials and demon cores that could be used to refine spiritual treasures, pills, and even a rare defensive armor. Thank you. Seeing that the white-haired old man was quite knowledgeable, Fei Ren also cupped his hands and smiled. The other party was the appraiser of this exchange, and was also under the command of the World Chamber of Commerce. With the World Chamber of Commerce's foundation and reputation throughout the Great Ming Dynasty, he was not worried that the other party would embezzle these magical beast materials and demon cores. After all, businessmen were particular about the word credibility. If the World Chamber of Commerce broke the rules for a small profit, they would not have continued to develop over the years and become a giant force that could not be underestimated in the entire Great Ming Dynasty. They even made the Great Ming Dynasty's Yi clan fear and want to rope them in. You don't have to be so polite. I am the appraiser of this exchange. You can just call me Elder Mu. Other than this fire spirit bear's magic core, the rest of the goods in your hands are basically magical beast materials above profound rank. According to the trading rules of the World Chamber of Commerce, regardless of the value of the goods sold, we will take a 5% commission. Do you have any objections? Elder Mu nodded and said unhurriedly. At the same time, he put away the monster cores and magical beast materials before looking at Fei Ren again. I have no objections. Elder Mu, name your price. Fei Ren also understood that the World Commerce Association had to take a certain amount of commission from the transaction. This kid's cultivation base is only at the 7th level of the Star Realm, but he was able to kill a fire spirit bear that was infinitely close to the low level of the spirit rank. How amazing! At this moment, Fei Ren didn't try to hide his strength. The origin energy fluctuations on his body were still around the 7th level of the star realm, which surprised Elder Mu. After all, Fei Ren was able to obtain a fire spirit bear's magic core that was comparable to the low level of the spirit rank. This proved that Fei Ren's strength wasn't simple. Perhaps his cultivation base wasn't as simple as it seemed on the surface. The market price of this green-striped scarlet snake's magic core is around 18,000 low-grade origin stones. However, the quality of this magic core isn't bad, and the magic power within it is relatively intact. I can make an exception and offer you 20,000 low-grade origin stones. Other than that, let's not talk about the fire spirit bear's magic core for now. These snake scales, magical beast bones, and scale armor of the fire spirit bear are all worth around 20,000 low-grade origin stones. Including the green-striped scarlet snake's magic core, I can give you a total of 40,000 low-grade origin stones. Elder Mu collected his thoughts and asked in the next moment. His skinny palm lightly tapped on the table under the iron window. His tone was experienced, and a trace of light flashed across his eyes. He was clearly a cunning old fox who didn't want to lose out at all. Only 40,000 low-grade primordial stones? Hearing this, Fei Ren's eyebrows slightly furrowed, as if he was somewhat dissatisfied. After all, these items were all valuable items on him. Even if the price of the fire spirit bear's magic core was not taken into account, a mere 40,000 low-grade origin stones was really not enough. When he went to the Black Rock auction, this amount of origin stones was simply not enough to fill the gaps between his teeth. Young friend, this is already very affordable. If these items were to be sold in the outside world's black market, I'm afraid they might not be worth this price. Our World Merchant Association has never cheated our customers. I believe that not only the practitioners near Black Rock City, but also the entire Great Ming Empire's territory. Seeing that Fei Ren was somewhat dissatisfied with the price and intended to haggle, Elder Mu, who was behind the iron window, chuckled and said again, as if he had already expected this. How about this, including this fire spirit bear's magic core, which is comparable to a low spiritual level, I can offer you a total of 80,000 low-grade origin stones. At the same time, I will also give you a World Merchant Association's silver card. Young friend, what do you think? Changing the topic, Elder Mu also took out a shiny silver card from his sleeve and handed it to Fei Ren, who was outside the iron window. The silver card was surrounded by dazzling and eye-catching patterns. It was surprisingly similar to the World Merchant Association's silver card. It was a small tactic used by the World Merchant Association to win people's hearts and customers. It could be said to be a symbol of strength and status. 80,000 low-grade origin stones. Fine, I'll sell it. Seeing that Elder Mu's expression was calm and did not have the slightest intention of relenting, Fei Ren immediately gritted his teeth and nodded his head. After all, the other party was backed by the Rank 6 World Merchant Association. As a small rogue practitioner, it was naturally impossible for him to take advantage of them. Furthermore, just as Elder Mu had said, if he were to sell these items in the outside world's black market, he might not be able to sell them for a better price. Thus, it was better to quit while he was ahead. After a while, just as Fei Ren was about to leave the room, a young female servant also slowly walked towards him. At the same time, she extended her hand and handed over a middle-grade spirit ring. Sir, this is all of your earnings. After deducting 5% of the transaction commission, there is a total of 76,000 low-grade origin stones left. Many thanks. After accepting the spirit ring, Fei Ren did not say anything else. He only nodded his head and turned around to leave. 76,000 low-grade origin stones, I wonder if it's enough. Forget it. If there are any items that I like in the Black Rock auction, I can borrow some from Lin Shuai. After leaving the World Merchant Association, Fei Ren exhaled a mouthful of turbid air and pondered. For an ordinary 7th-level Star Realm martial artist, Having over 70,000 low-grade origin stones was already a good fortune. However, for Feiren, this amount of money was clearly far from enough. His appetite was much bigger than an ordinary person's. Unknowingly, a day had passed, and the Black Rock auction finally began under the anticipation of everyone. At the entrance of the auction in Black Rock City, there was an endless stream of people. At this moment, Feiren followed beside Lin Shuai and stepped into the venue. This is indeed the World Silver Card of our Merchant Association. Honored guests, please come this way. A middle-aged man checked the World Silver Card in Lin Shuai's hand and immediately nodded his head. At the same time, he stepped to the side and made way for them. Chapter 301. Following the middle-aged man's footsteps, Feiren and Lin Shuai bypassed the lobby on the first floor and headed straight for the second floor of the auction. That was where the Earth-ranked luxurious rooms were reserved for VIPs. As for the best Heaven-ranked rooms, they were located on the third level of the auction hall. In the entire Black Rock City, the number of people who had the right to reserve a Heaven-ranked room could be counted on one hand. I didn't expect this card to be so useful. Feiren curled his lips and suddenly said. Yesterday, when he was selling the magical beast materials at the World Trade Association, the appraiser called Elder Mu also gave him a World Silver Card. Its value was about the same as the World Silver Card in Lin Shuai's hand. Yes, with this World Silver Card, we don't have to squeeze in the lobby on the first floor. Moreover, when the items are auctioned, there will be staff members to deliver them to us. It's convenient and efficient. In response to Feiren's exclamation, Lin Shuai kept the World Silver Card in his hand and smiled faintly. After all, the Lin family was a dignified 8th-grade family and one of the 3 major families in Black Rock City. Naturally, they couldn't squeeze in the lobby on the first floor like ordinary warriors. After all, there were all kinds of people there, and it would be a loss of face for the Lin family. Speaking of which, I also have a World Silver Card. As Lin Shuai's voice fell, a trace of playfulness flashed across Feiren's face. Then, a light flashed between his fingers and he took out a shining silver card as well. This is the World Silver Card. Seeing that Feiren also took out a World Silver Card, Lin Shuai's expression froze. Then, he said in shock, "Brother Fei, I didn't expect you to have one too." Originally, he thought that he could use this Black Rock City auction to return the favor and at the same time, improve his relationship with Feiren. However, what Lin Shuai didn't expect was that Feiren didn't need it. After all, Feiren also had a World Silver Card. Even without Lin Shuai's help, he still had the ability to book the Earth Room and enjoy a certain discount. Previously, I was given it by an appraiser at the World Chamber of Commerce's trading house. I guess I was lucky. In the face of Lin Shuai's shock, Feiren merely smiled faintly before keeping the silver card. Evidently, he did not want to be too high-profile. "Gentlemen, this is the place. If there's anything you need, feel free to call out to the staff of the Chamber of Commerce. The auction is about to begin, so I'll take my leave first." At this moment, the two of them arrived at a luxurious and spacious private room. It seemed to be the Earth Room. In the next moment, the middle-aged man cupped his fists and left quietly. The room is filled with origin energy. There seems to be a small-scale formation set up there, and its grade isn't inferior to the top-grade yellow rank. Moreover, the delicacies placed on the table are all rare and precious magical beast roast meat and mutant fruit, as expected of an Earth rank room prepared for top martial artists. It really lives up to its name. After entering the room, Feiren's gaze swept across the room. Feiren nodded slightly, as if he had noticed something. After all, only martial artists with the World Chamber of Commerce's silver card had the qualifications to book these Earth rank rooms. It was naturally different from the noisy and complicated auction seats on the first floor. At the same time, it was also a private room. Yes, and other than that, the Earth Rank Room has another benefit. As he spoke, Lin Shui grinned and walked towards the opposite window. He said, "This glass is made from a special material called amethyst. Not only can it reflect light, it can also transmit light. Moreover, the situation inside the room cannot be seen from the outside. However, the inside of the room can clearly see the auction outside. This kind of glass made from amethyst is not cheap. Even a small piece like this would cost a few hundred low-grade primordial stones. I didn't expect amethyst to have such an effect." Hearing this, Fei Ren's face was also slightly surprised. He had heard of amethyst before. It was usually used by some weapon refiners as a supplementary material to make armors, weapons, and even spirit treasures. Moreover, it was relatively common. Basically, spirit treasures below 3rd grade would more or less have amethyst shadow. However, it was the first time Fei Ren had heard of amethyst having the ability to reflect and transmit light. Auction venue, 1st floor lobby. Just as Lin Shui and Fei Ren were conversing, more and more martial artists gathered at the auction venue. Soon, the entire 1st floor lobby was filled. "Hey, it's about to start. I wonder what kind of treasures will appear at the Black Lava auction this time. I heard that there was a 6th grade spirit treasure for sale at the Black Lava auction last year. At that time, it could be said that there was a bloodbath and many martial artists died. It's hard to say. Those Earth and Heaven rank rooms are already full. I reckon that the Black Lava auction's final treasures will be of great value." At a glance, there were people everywhere. The ground was dark and filled with people from all walks of life. Among them, there was no lack of experts who were half a step to martial master. For a moment, there was a lot of discussion. "Look, Miss Nicole is coming out." Accompanied by a burst of noise and screams, in the next moment, a tall and beautiful figure slowly walked onto the auction stage in the middle of the venue. "Everyone, welcome to the Black Lava auction. My name is Nicole. I am the person in charge of the Black Lava branch of the World Chamber of Commerce. I hope that everyone will participate in the auction enthusiastically and not leave behind any regret." The person who came was a young and beautiful lady in a blue dress. The lady in the blue dress had a charming face with dragon eyes and phoenix eyes. Every movement of hers carried a divine aura. Her voice was icy and otherworldly. Although she spoke, it was extremely infectious and inciting, as if she was a fairy who had walked out of a landscape painting. The moment the lady in the blue dress named Nicole appeared, she completely ignited the atmosphere of the auction venue. The atmosphere of the entire auction venue instantly surged to a climax. "It's really Miss Nicole. I feel like I'm going to die. Miss Nicole, I love you." Looking at the otherworldly lady in the blue dress on the auction stage, a bald man below the stage also screamed at the top of his voice. His face instantly turned red, and at the same time, his eyes blurred, as if he had been captivated by the lady in the blue dress. "Scram! Why don't you take a piss and look at yourself in the mirror? You still want to touch Miss Nicole? You're a toad who wants to eat swan meat." Miss Nicole is the only person in charge of the Black Lava branch. Not only is she beautiful, but she also has a strong background. Even the young geniuses of the 3 big families don't dare to touch her. You can have everything in your dreams. Go wash up and sleep. However, the bald man's actions instantly caused the surrounding martial artists and rogue cultivators to feel dissatisfied. Immediately, a few rogue cultivators ridiculed him. Their tone was filled with playfulness and ridicule. It was obvious that they felt that the bald man was overestimating himself. Chapter 302. Who is it? How dare you insult me? Come and fight me if you're not convinced. Faced with the mocking and ridicule of the surrounding people, this bald large man also became furious on the spot. His gaze surveyed the surroundings. At the same time, his eyes widened until they were as large as copper bells as he sternly cried out. However, as soon as he finished speaking, the noise around him died down a little. It seemed that no one wanted to provoke the bald man because of his fanatical aura. After all, even though this bald man looked ordinary and was only an itinerant cultivator, his origin power cultivation was quite good. He had already reached the 10th level of the star realm, and he was above average among the many cultivators and itinerant cultivators on the first floor of the auction house. The martial artists and independent cultivators around him, who were making sarcastic remarks, were all of different levels of strength. Most of them were at the 4th or 5th level of the star realm. They were no match for the bald man. The atmosphere was still lively. At the same time, more and more martial artists and independent cultivators flooded into the lobby of the first floor of the auction house. Some of them were low-key veteran Star Realm martial artists. In a hidden corner of the lobby of the first floor, these idiots. As long as you're strong enough, you don't have to worry about women, a middle-aged man in a tight suit said coldly. Then, he lowered the black bamboo hat on his head. He seemed to be able to maintain his composure in front of the enchanting woman in the blue dress on the stage. He wasn't affected by her beauty at all. No matter how beautiful Nicole of the World Chamber of Commerce is, she's just a bag of skin. What I want is something more precious. On the other side, a hunchbacked old man in a black robe also shifted his gaze slightly. At the same time, he looked at Nicole on the stage. A glint flashed across his turbid eyes. In the next moment, he spoke in a sinister manner. It seemed that he had other plans. Although the black-robed old man's figure was thin and his palms were like rotting dead wood, the origin energy aura on his body was as dense as an abyss. No one dared to underestimate him because he had already far surpassed the level of a high star realm cultivator. Moreover, the black-robed old man's face was covered by a clown mask. It was very strange, and no one could see his true appearance clearly. On the second floor, in a luxurious room named Earth. Marshal Lin, where did this Nicole come from? She seems to be quite popular. At this moment, Fei Ren's gaze also passed through the glass window and finally landed on the blue-dressed lady on the stage below. His eyes were filled with surprise. Truthfully speaking, the beauty of the woman in a blue dress before him was indeed shocking, and she was even more stunning and extraordinary than those beauties he'd seen in the past. It was even to the extent that the Darchu Grand Princess, Chu Qian, was far inferior to her. Perhaps only the mysterious night demon fairy, who massacred the Iron Sect of Wuan Town, could be compared to Nicole. Fei Ren could still remember the scene from back then. Even though he had never seen the true appearance of the night demon fairy and only saw her eyes through her veil, he knew that she was a stunning beauty and was not from the countries around the Hengduan Mountains. Miss Nicole is the person in charge of the World Chamber of Commerce in Black Rock City. She is well versed in business and has a strong background in the association. She is definitely not someone ordinary people can come into contact with. Even President Xiao En is very respectful to her. She can be called a proud daughter of heaven. Moreover, Lady Nicole rarely shows her face in public. She can only be seen once a year at the Black Rock City auction. Therefore, the martial artists and rogue cultivators below the stage are naturally more passionate. Speaking of which, she has only been here for 3 to 4 years since she was sent to the Black Rock City branch by the World Merchant Association. Faced with Fei Ren's inquiry, Marshal Lin also sighed with emotion. His gaze also looked at the stage below, and his words could not help but reveal a trace of overflowing beauty. It seemed that his love for the blue-dressed lady was not inferior to those crazy warriors below. However, as the young master of the Lin family, Marshal Lin was more rational and did not fall into fanaticism. I see. Hearing this, Fei Ren also nodded deeply. Everyone, the auction will now begin. The next item will be the first auction item. Just as Fei Ren and Marshal Lin were conversing, the auction below was also in full swing. Accompanied by Nicole's clear and ethereal voice, a white-clothed maid slowly walked up to the stage. At this moment, she was holding a jade plate with both hands. The entire jade plate was covered by a gilded brocade cloth, as if it was the treasure that was about to be auctioned. The first auction item is a Grade 4 martial art, mountain-splitting earth fist. She gently lifted the gilded brocade cloth on the jade plate, and in the next moment, Nicole said unhurriedly. On top of the jade plate, there was an ancient and slightly damaged blue secret manual. It seemed to be the Grade 4 martial art that she spoke of, mountain-splitting earth fist. The first item is a Grade 4 martial art. It seems that the World Chamber of Commerce is really rich. According to this trend, the final auction item will definitely be an extremely valuable extraordinary treasure. In the room, Fei Ren's face was also slightly surprised, and his eyes flickered. One had to know that even his previous specialty, the 5 Mountain King capturing palm, was only a quasi-Grade 4 martial art. However, in today's Black Rock auction, a Grade 4 martial art was used as the opening item of the auction, which was enough to show the background of the World Chamber of Commerce. Moreover, the Black Rock branch was only one of the many branches of the World Chamber of Commerce. The wealth of a Grade 6 faction clearly exceeded Fei Ren's imagination. If he had enough primordial stones, he might be able to get a Grade 6 or even Grade 7 martial art here. This fist technique was created by a one-armed rogue cultivator in Black Rock City 30 years ago. It focuses on using one's strength to break through 10,000 method. It condenses all the strength and origin energy in the martial artist's body into a single point, and then explodes in an instant within a breath, causing a huge destructive force. When cultivated to perfection, it can even split mountains and split the earth. Its power is endless. Haha, if there are any friends who are interested in this martial art, don't miss it. The starting price of this martial art is 20,000 low-grade primordial stones, and each increment must not be less than 1,000. Everyone, start bidding. Her beautiful eyes moved, and Nicole smiled faintly. At the same time, her gaze faintly looked at the earth and heaven rooms on the first floor of the lobby. Although the rogue cultivators on the first floor of the lobby occupied most of the people in this auction, she was very clear in her heart that the people in the earth and heaven rooms on the first floor of the Black Rock auction were the VIP guests. They were rich and imposing. I bid 21,000 low-grade primordial stones. You must give face to Miss Nicole. Just as he finished speaking, a bidding voice came from below. 21,000 low-grade primordial stones, and you still have the nerve to bid? What a pauper! I bid 25,000 low-grade primordial stones. Don't fight with me. I want this mountain-splitting earth fist. However, just as the bidding voice fell, someone immediately shouted out a bid. His tone was disdainful, obviously thinking that a bid of 1,000 was too poor. 25,000 low-grade primordial stones is nothing. I'll add another 1,000. I bid 28,000 low-grade primordial stones. Who dares to raise the price? Accompanied by waves of crazy bidding voices, the price of this level 4 martial art, mountain-splitting earth fist, also rose continuously. Very quickly, it reached the high price of 28,000 low-grade primordial stones. As the price continued to rise, Nicole's smile on the stage also became more and more radiant, her beautiful eyes blinking. Damn, these people are really crazy. A level 4 martial art costs 28,000 low-grade primordial stones? If I were to sell the rubbing of the Black Tortoise immortality scripture, wouldn't I be able to earn more than 100,000 low-grade primordial stones? I would become rich overnight. At this moment, looking at the crazy bidding of the crowd below, Fei Ren's eyes flashed with a bright light as he secretly sighed in his heart. Chapter 303. When he left the Dongling province, he had personally copied a copy of the Black Tortoise Longevity scripture for the village chief of the Ox village. Although the current Feiren had already switched to the 9th rank cultivation method, the Dharma Thousand transformation technique, the memories of the 5th rank cultivation method, the Black Tortoise Longevity scripture, as well as the Meridian route, were still hidden deep in his mind. Right now, if Feiren wanted to make a profit and sell another copy of the Black Tortoise Longevity scripture, it was not impossible. The bidding continued. As the price of the splitting mountain and earth-shattering fist continued to soar, the bidding voices on the first floor gradually weakened. It seemed that the price of this Grade 4 martial art had reached its peak, and it would be difficult for it to break through any higher price. 28,000 low-grade origin stones. Is there anyone who wants to bid higher? Seeing that the surroundings were gradually becoming silent, Nicole, who was on the stage, also opened her mouth to speak. Her voice was as sweet as a silver bell. 28,000 low-grade origin stones. Going once. Going twice. Going thrice sold. The voice gradually rose, and in the next moment, Nicole also made the final decision. Her beautiful face revealed a smile, as if she was satisfied with the price of the first auction item. Although the mountain-splitting earth fist was extremely powerful, it was still only a 4th rank martial art. On the black market, the price of a level 4 martial art was around 25 to 28,000 low-grade primal stones. The price of this splitting mountain and earth fist manual was already considered high if it was sold for 28,000 low-grade primal stones. Any higher and it would not be worth it. Not to mention the World Chamber of Commerce, even in other trading houses and the black market, any 4th rank martial art would not be sold for more than 30,000 low-grade origin stones. After all, the peak of a 4th rank martial art was set there. Although Nicole, who was on the stage, was extremely flirtatious and inciting the atmosphere of the auction, not a single martial warriors present was a fool. They would rather spend this money for nothing. Very quickly, the mountain-splitting earth fist was put away by a young maid of the World Chamber of Commerce, and then handed over to a rogue cultivator below the stage. After that, the auction continued. This woman called Nicole is really a seductress. The highest price of a 4th rank martial art is not more than 30,000. The martial warriors and rogue cultivators present were only slightly incited by her, and they actually sold it for 28,000 low-grade origin stones. TSK. On the second floor, looking at the gradually feverish atmosphere below, Feiren also shook his head. Brother Fei, Miss Nicole's charm has always been this charming. Moreover, this is only the first auction item. The following auction items are still very valuable, and the price will only be higher. Stepping forward, Lin Shui also opened his mouth to speak. A dry smile appeared on his pale face, as though he also felt that the other party's words were reasonable. As the young master of the Lin family, he had also participated in the Black Rock auction in the past and had won many good items. Naturally, he knew the rules and inside information. Moreover, as the only organizer of the Black Rock auction, the World Chamber of Commerce, a 6th rank faction, had an extraordinary background. Some of the more common cultivation methods, soul treasures and elixirs basically did not appear here, and the treasures that could be auctioned were mostly priceless. After all, as a 6th rank faction, the World Chamber of Commerce would not do something that would ruin their reputation and sell some low-value treasures. The second auction item, a section of the Cloud Demon's hand bone. The starting price is 30,000 low-grade origin stones, and each increment must not be less than 2,000. Everyone, please do not miss it. On the stage, Nicole's voice sounded again. Soon after, the next auction item was also slowly presented. On the jade plate was a section of a grayish-brown ancient hand bone. A few faint scars could be faintly seen on the hand bone, and at the same time, a strange cold as ice aura was emitted. In an instant, it spread throughout the entire auction hall, causing one to involuntarily feel a wave of palpitations. Cloud Demon's Hand Bone. What is this thing? What a frightening aura! It is as if I have fallen into an endless ice cave. Looking at the small section of ancient hand bone on the jade plate, the expressions of the crowd below were all different. Suddenly, there was a lot of discussion, as if they were all frightened by the strange aura. At the same time, in another earth-ranked room on the second floor. It really is the Cloud Demon's hand bone. As expected of the World Chamber of Commerce, they can even get their hands on such a strange thing. Looking at Nicole, who was standing gracefully on the stage below, Lu Xuanyu, who was dressed in a yellow robe, had a cunning look on his face. Then, he shifted his gaze to the ancient hand bone with a fiery look in his eyes, as if he was very interested in this ancient hand bone. "Zhou Tong, come and take a look. Is this the Cloud Demon's hand bone that Master Gu mentioned?" Lu Xuanyu changed the topic and looked at a tall, dark-faced middle-aged man beside him. The middle-aged man, Zhou Tong, was Lu Xuanyu's personal guard. Not only was he powerful, having reached LV1 Martial Master realm, but he was also very loyal to the Lu clan. At the same time, he had risked his life for the Lu clan for many years. "Yes, young clan leader. This is the Cloud Demon's hand bone that Master Gu mentioned. I heard that Master Gu has a hobby of collecting rare treasures. If you can get this Cloud Demon's hand bone, he will definitely exchange it with a high-quality grade, 5 elixir. By then, your cultivation will improve by leaps and bounds, and your strength will increase greatly. You may even be able to compete with that girl, Chao Ling, in the Heavenly Yuan Pool competition 3 months later." In response to Lu Xuanyu's inquiry, the middle-aged man named Zhou Tong nodded solemnly and cupped his hands in respect. His tone was full of respect. "You're right. No matter how high the final price of this Cloud Demon's hand bone is, I'm determined to get it." The corners of Lu Xuanyu's mouth curled up into a smile. He had brought a lot of money from his clan to attend the Black Boulder auction. A mere Cloud Demon's hand bone was not enough to hurt him. Moreover, the final item of the Black Boulder auction had not appeared yet. Lu Xuanyu's real target was the final item of the Black Boulder auction. There's even a Cloud Demon's hand bone. Although it's just a small bone, the Black Boulder auction this time is indeed as rumored. There will definitely be a supreme treasure appearing in the room. Lin Shuai's eyes were also slightly surprised when he saw the quaint Cloud Demon's hand bone on the display table. The next moment, his face turned to joy. "Brother Lin, it seems like you've prepared for this Black Boulder auction." Fei Ren stepped forward and touched his nose as he grinned. After all, he had some understanding of the Cloud Demon. The Cloud Demon was a rare and special demonic beast. Unlike ordinary demonic beasts, this demonic beast did not have a demonic core or demonic power in its body. Its appearance was similar to a human ancient martial artist, but it was extremely strong. It could tear apart a high-star realm ancient martial artist with its bare hands. Although the Cloud Demon's destructive power was very strong, its reproductive ability was very weak. At the same time, its spiritual intelligence was low. It could only survive by devouring the spiritual qi between heaven and earth. It was extremely difficult for it to evolve and break through, so it was very rare. Despite that, the Cloud Demon's body was full of treasures. Its bones could be used to forge high-rank spiritual treasures, weapons, and armor. Its blood could be used for healing. As for the rarest part of the Cloud Demon's body, it was its skull. Due to their brutal nature and their fondness for slaughter, every Cloud Devil would be tainted with killing intent and baleful aura. This killing intent and baleful aura would not dissipate with time, nor would it dissipate with the Cloud Devil's death. Instead, it would all gather in their skulls. Therefore, the Cloud Demon's skull would gather a large amount of killing intent and evil aura. It was rumored in the underworld that if one possessed a Cloud Demon's skull, not only would it train the ancient martial artist's willpower, but it would also be beneficial for cultivating demonic cultivation methods. Chapter 304. Brother Fei must be joking. I have attended the Black Boulder auction several times and I am quite familiar with the rules. The auction has just begun and there are already rare items like Level 4 martial arts and the Cloud Devil's Hand Bone. From this, it can be seen that the value of the treasures will be even more astonishing as the auction progresses. Lin Shui withdrew his gaze and laughed dryly. He was also very clear about the value of the Cloud Devil's Hand Bone. Although the Cloud Devil's Hand Bone in Nicole's hand was not large and it was not the most precious part of the Cloud Devil's body, its value was not low either. The starting bid of 30,000 low-grade yuan stones was already a reasonable price. For a Cloud Devil's Hand Bone of the same quality, even if it was only a small piece, it would be priceless in the black market. 30,000 low-grade yuan stones might not even be enough to purchase it. You are right. To one side, Fei Ren nodded in agreement. Could it be that brother is also interested in this Cloud Devil's Hand Bone? As if he had thought of something, Lin Shui opened his mouth and probed. After all, the Cloud Devil's Hand Bone was extremely hard like a boulder. Moreover, it was also an extremely rare refining material that could be used to create some soul treasures, weapons and armors. A high-quality Cloud Devil's Hand Bone could even be used to create a high-tier soul treasure. That is not it. Although this Cloud Devil's Hand Bone is quite valuable, I am not a weapon refiner and it is not of much use to me. Moreover, compared to this, I am more interested in martial arts, pills and soul treasures. Shaking his head, Fei Ren smiled and said. His expression was calm and he did not purposely keep anyone in suspense. Following the appearance of this Cloud Devil's Hand Bone, the atmosphere on the first floor of the auction venue rose and instantly became very lively. Everyone should know about the Cloud Devil, this special magical beast, right? That's right, this ancient hand bone is from the Cloud Devil's body. It was obtained by a martial arts expert from our association in a tomb, and it seems to be a remnant of the tomb owner. Unfortunately, most of the Cloud Devil's bones in the tomb have been destroyed with the passage of time. Moreover, the most rare Cloud Devil's hand bone is also missing. Only this small hand bone is left. But even so, this Cloudavil's hand bone can still be considered to be completely preserved, and its value is still the same. If any of you take a liking to it, then feel free to bid. On the stage, Nicole's gaze swept across the audience. Then, she reached out to tuck the strands of hair by her ear and smiled faintly. Her tone was very charming, as if she was a beautiful fox that could capture one's soul. 30,000 low-grade primordial stones. I want it! Sure enough, with the value of the Cloud Devil's hand bone and Nicole's incitement on the stage, someone immediately shouted out a price with an excited tone. What kind of joke is this? Such a treasure naturally belongs to the highest bidder. I bid 35,000 low-grade origin stones. However, as soon as the bid was called out, someone else on the other side of the venue raised the price and followed closely behind. I bid 37,000 low-grade primordial stones. 40,000! Humph, I bid 50,000 low-grade primordial stones. Is there anyone else who wants to raise the price? At this moment, the price of the Cloud Devil's hand bone continued to rise under the wild bidding of everyone in the hall. In merely a short moment, it had soared to a high price of 50,000 low-grade yuan stones. It could be said to be crazy. 50,000 low-grade yuan stones. On the second floor, in the Earth Room, when he heard this price, the corners of Fei Ren's mouth twitched and his eyelids twitched. One must know that even a rare Tier 5 elixir, such as the Dragon Eye Clear Jade Pill that Lin Jinan had given him previously, was worth at most 50,000 low-grade yuan stones. However, today, it was almost surpassed by the price of the Cloud Devil's hand bone. It was simply frightening. Moreover, Even though the current Fei-Ren was quite wealthy, he only had 76,000 low-grade yuan stones in his spirit ring. Based on the current progress of the auction, the amount of money he had on him was probably only enough to bid for 1 or 2 Tier 5 elixirs or a Tier 5 martial arts secret art. Any more and he would be out of money. Are these Black Rock City's wandering practitioners all so rich? Looks like compared to hunting magical beasts, killing people is more practical. When he thought of this, Fei-Ren secretly sighed in his heart. Let's wait and not rush to make a move. At most, I'll sell a copy of the Black Tortoise Immortality Scripture and borrow some yuan stones from that brat Lin Shui. Retracting his thoughts, Fei-Ren's gaze once again landed on the hall below. Even though the Tier 4 martial arts and the Cloud Devil's Hand bone were quite valuable, there were no treasures that he was extremely interested in so far. Hence, he was not in a hurry to make a move. 50,000 low-grade yuan stones. Is there anyone else who wants to bid? Her beautiful eyes flickered. Nicole's voice was still pleasant to listen to. However, the hall was filled with the sound of flaps and no one responded. These guys, is this all they have? When she saw this scene, Nicole's beautiful eyebrows slightly furrowed. It seemed that she was somewhat dissatisfied with this price. After all, the value of this Cloud Devil's Hand bone was quite low. If the buyer was a weapon refiner who was proficient in the art of weapon refinement, the price would be much higher. At the very least, it would be around 60,000 low-grade yuan stones. As a proud daughter of heaven who was well versed in the business world and as a member of the Tianxia Chamber of Commerce, Nicole had a unique arrogance and coldness. In her opinion, every auction item that passed through her hands should be sold at a high price. Only then would she feel a sense of accomplishment. Just as the auction's atmosphere gradually became cold, a man's indifferent voice sounded out from an earth room on the second floor of the hall. 60,000 low-grade yuan stones. This young master wants this Cloud Devil's Hand bone. 60,000 low-grade yuan stones. When they heard this price, the entire auction hall suddenly became silent. For a moment, everyone's gaze turned to one of the earth rooms on the second floor. Even some of the martial master experts in the hall felt their hearts tremble. They seemed to be shocked by this sudden high price. After all, it was 60,000 low-grade yuan stones. Not to mention this Cloud Devil's Hand bone, it was more than enough to buy 1 or 2 grade 5 pills. Furthermore, the bidder had come from the earth room on the second floor. Those who were able to reserve that room were all distinguished guests who possessed the World Silver Card. In the entire Black Rock City, the number of cultivators and forces who possessed the World Silver Card could be counted on one hand, and the 3 great families were one of them. The 3 great families have finally made their move. Judging from that voice and tone, it seems to be the young master of the Liu family, Liu Xuanyu? That's right. Now it seems that we have no room to bid anymore. Even if we use all our wealth to buy this Cloud Devil's Hand bone, we might suffer from the Liu family's revenge. That's right, that's right. We can't afford it, nor can we afford to offend them. Let's just watch the show. At the auction venue, in the hall on the first floor. After Liu Xuanyu's high-profile bid, many warriors and rogue cultivators in the hall began to discuss with different tones. They seemed to have recognized Liu Xuanyu's identity. At the same time, the bidding in the hall completely stopped at this moment. Chapter 305. After all, Liu Xuanyu was the young master of the Liu clan, one of the 3 major clans in Black Rock City. Most of the people on the first floor were high-star realm itinerant cultivators. They could not afford to offend the Liu clan, the local tyrant of Black Rock City. For the small number of martial master experts who attended the auction, it was not worth offending the Liu clan for a small piece of the Cloud Devil's Hand bone. 60,000 low-grade primordial stones. Deal. Seeing that no one made a sound, Nicole made the final call and clinched the deal. After all, the Cloud Devil's Hand bone could be sold for 60,000 low-grade primordial stones, which was basically what she wanted. It was also a great profit for the World Chamber of Commerce. It's Lu Xuanyu. I wonder what he's planning to do with the Cloud Devil's Hand bone. On the other side, Lin Shuai's eyes widened in surprise. Although he could not see what was going on in the earth room due to the purple crystal glass, he could tell from the sound that it was Lu Xuanyu who had bought the Cloud Devil's Hand bone at a high price. For ordinary martial artists, the Cloud Devil's Hand bone was not particularly valuable, unless they needed to absorb the murderous intent and evil qi in the demonic Tao cultivation method. Or they were blacksmiths with powerful mental strength who planned to use the Cloud Devil's Hand bone to forge a numinous treasure weapon. Maybe it's for collection. After all, it's rare. Fei Ren stepped forward and said with a faint smile. There was a hint of mockery in his tone. Firstly, he did not have a good impression of the young patriarch of the Lu family. Secondly, in the Heavenly Yuan pool competition 3 months later, he would also be the foreign aide of the Lin family. Lu Xuanyu, who was in front of him, was naturally a thorn that needed to be cut off. Brother Fei, you must be joking. Maybe the Lu clan has other considerations. Or maybe they want to use the Cloud Devil's Hand bone to forge a powerful numinous treasure. Lin Shuai was stunned for a moment. Then, he let out a dry laugh. Even though the Lu family's power was ranked in the middle among the 3 great families of Black Rock City, their financial resources were the most robust. They were even richer than the head of the 3 great families, the Chao family. Hence, it was not impossible for them to hire a high-level weapon refiner. No matter how powerful a numinous treasure is, it depends on the user. If the user is not powerful, it's nothing. However, Fei Ren wasn't too interested in Lin Shuai's opinion. After all, with his current strength, as long as the opponent was not a LV2 martial master expert, he was not afraid at all. Very quickly, after the Cloud Demon Hand bone was successfully auctioned off, the next auction item was also presented. It was a small white jade bottle. 2 purple-red small medicinal pills quietly lay within it. Although the jade bottle was tightly sealed, waves of medicinal fragrance still emitted from it. It seemed to be some kind of medicinal pill of high quality. The Purple Jade Benevolent Heart Pill is a type of 5th-grade medicinal pill created by Master Gu of Black Rock City. Although the quality is slightly lacking and is only 82%, it can be considered a regrettable creation of Master Gu. However, after consuming this pill, it can allow a cultivator's strength to increase by 50% in a short period of time. It can be called a life-saving spirit pill. Everyone, there are a total of 2 of these pills. The starting price of each Violet Jade Benevolent Heart pill is 30,000 low-grade primordial stones. Moreover, each increment must not be less than 5,000 low-grade primordial stones. The auction begins. Nicole lifted her hand and gently held the white jade bottle in her hand. She then introduced it in a soft voice. Violet Jade Benevolent Heart Pill. Looking at the bottle of purple-colored medicinal pill in Nicole's hand, the hearts of the crowd below the stage trembled. Instantly, there was a flurry of discussion and the atmosphere instantly rose. Not to mention that this Violet Jade Benevolent Heart Pill was already 5th grade. Just the name of Master Gu alone was worth thousands of gold. As everyone knew, the only 5th-grade alchemist in the vicinity of Black Rock City was the rumored Master Gu. Generally, the medicinal pills created by him, no matter how low the quality, would far surpass the medicinal pills refined by other alchemists on the market. Therefore, even if the quality of this Violet Jade Benevolent Heart Pill was not perfect and was less than 90%, its final price would not be too low. Master Gu, it's this old man again. It seems that this old man's alchemy skills are quite good. I wonder where this old man came from. When the time comes, I will have to ask him for advice. Inside the room, Fei Ren's expression was also deep in thought as he looked at the fiery atmosphere of the crowd below. He himself was also a second-grade alchemist. Although his level wasn't very high, his understanding of alchemy was still considered basic and thorough. Whether it was the Dragon Eye Clear Jade pill from before or this Purple Jade Benevolent Heart pill now, the difficulty of refining both belonged to the first class among the numerous fifth-grade medicinal pills. Basically, it was already considered good if one could succeed once or twice out of 10 attempts. From this, it could be seen that Master Gu's alchemy skills were extremely high. It far surpassed the Dachu dynasty's medicine king Lin Feng. Among the people that Fei Ren had met, perhaps only that girl Shunlan could compete with him. I bid 35,000 low-grade origin stones. Very quickly, someone shouted out a price. After all, Master Gu's reputation in Black Rock City was still very resounding. The other party would rarely personally refine pills, and the pills that he produced would definitely be of high quality. 35,000 low-grade origin stones are nothing. I bid 50,000. However, before this bid could be heard, it was immediately drowned out by another voice. The person who called out the price was a man with a buzz cut. The yuan power cultivation on his body was not weak, and had already reached the half-step to Martial Master Realm. Other than a few Martial Master Realm experts, he could be considered to be able to defeat most of the martial artists and loose cultivators present. After all, the area on the first floor of the venue was the most spacious. Most of the people who came to participate in the auction were loose cultivators from all walks of life. As for the powerful martial artists and family clans, they would usually be in the Earth Room on the second floor or even the Heaven Room on the third floor. Naturally, they would not lower themselves to squeeze on the first floor of the venue. Hence, a half-step to Martial Master Realm Yuan power cultivation was already considered to be an extremely good existence among the numerous martial artists on the first floor of the venue. Half-step to Martial Master Realm. The people from the three big families seemed to have no interest in this Violet Cloud Benevolent Heart pill. This guy has gotten a bargain. This guy has made a killing. 50,000 low-grade origin stones is nothing to buy an ordinary grade 5 pill. However, that is the Violet Jade Benevolent Heart pill from Black Rock City's Master Gu. The price can be increased by at least another 50%. In the face of the man with a buzz cut, the surrounding noise also decreased a little. The sounds of discussion rose again and again. It seemed that they had already sensed the extraordinary yuan power fluctuation on the other party's body. At the same time, they were also intimidated by the other party's extraordinary aura. After all, the people from the three big families and a small number of Martial Master Realm experts did not make a move. Even if these high-star realm loose cultivators had enough wealth, they did not dare to fight to the death with the man with a buzz cut, who was a half-step to Martial Master Realm. They did not want to arouse the hatred and revenge of the other party. 50,000 low-grade primordial stones. Although for a level 5 medicinal pill created by Master Gu, this price is still on the low side, but this group of bastards should not dare to fight with me for the Violet Jade Benevolent Heart pill. I have a half-step to Martial Master Realm Yuan power cultivation. Seeing that the surrounding martial artists were ready to make a move but did not dare to make a bid, the man with a buzz cut also crossed his arms in front of his chest. His face was proud and a cold smile appeared at the corner of his mouth at the same time. It seemed that he was determined to obtain this Violet Jade Benevolent Heart pill and was not afraid that others would make a bid. Chapter 306. Sure enough, after the man with a buzz cut called out the price, the noise on the first floor of the venue also paused for a moment. No one raised the price again. After all, the price of a 5th-grade pill on the black market was around 50,000 low-grade primordial stones. Although this Purple Cloud Benevolent Heart pill came from Black Rock City's Master Gu, its effect had not reached the level of heaven-defying. It could only temporarily increase a warrior's strength by 50%. For martial arts experts who had stepped into the martial master realm, the effect of the purple jade benevolent heart pill was not significant. The increase in strength was less than 30%, and it was only effective for high star realm warriors. Therefore, the martial artists and rogue cultivators present were very tactful. They did not plan to spend too much money, and instead focused on the next auction item. 50,000 low-grade primordial stones, going once, going twice, sold. Seeing that no one else was bidding, Nicole revealed a helpless expression. After all, no matter how she stirred up the atmosphere, the high-star realm rogue cultivators and a small number of martial master realm experts were unmoved. It seemed that they were not willing to pour their wealth into this purple jade benevolent heart pill. After all, there was more than one purple jade benevolent heart pill. The man with a buzz cut had won one, and there was still one left in the white jade bottle in Nicole's hand. Thus, there was still a chance to bid again. Very quickly, a staff member of the World Chamber of Commerce carefully placed the purple jade benevolent heart pill in a jade box, and then sent it to the man with a buzz cut below the stage. With this purple jade benevolent heart pill, even if I meet a first-level martial master realm expert, I will have the power to contend with him. Holding the jade box tightly in his hand, the man with a buzz cut revealed a sly smile. He seemed to be in a good mood. The 50,000 low-grade primordial stones were not wasted. Although his cultivation was only at the half-step martial master realm, after consuming this 5th-grade purple jade benevolent heart pill, his overall strength would soar by 50%, comparable to a true first-level martial master realm expert. Although the time was short and limited, it could be considered an excellent way to repay his life. After a few breaths, the bidding for the other purple jade benevolent heart pill also began, and the bidding was equally intense. Not long after, the price soared to 50,000 low-grade primordial stones, exactly the same as the previous hot scene. Damn, it's risen to 50,000 again. Looks like we don't stand a chance with this purple jade benevolent heart pill. It's the people from the Earth Room. How could it be the 3 great families again? They even dared to snatch a level 5 medicinal pill. This is too ruthless. At this time, some rogue cultivators in the venue also looked at the second floor with fear and unwillingness in their eyes. Some of the cultivators secretly clenched their fists, as if they didn't have the energy to compete with the 3 big families directly. After all, they were all loose cultivators with limited strength and financial resources. It was difficult for them to compete with the 3 great clans of Black Rock City. This move was tantamount to throwing an egg at a rock. And this time, the bidder who bid 50,000 was none other than the young patriarch of the Liu family, Liu Xuanyu, who had always been arrogant and overbearing. 50,000 low-grade primordial stones. Are there any other bids? Everyone, there's only one left. Her beautiful eyes also glanced at the earth-ranked private room above as Nicole's faint and elegant voice sounded out once again. Her slightly captivating face revealed a trace of charm, obviously full of temptation. After all, the higher the price of this violet jade benevolent heart pill, the more their World Trade Association would be able to earn. Young patriarch is mighty. It looks like this purple jade benevolent heart pill is already in your bag on the second floor, in one of the earth rooms. After seeing Liu Xuanyu's bid, everyone was shocked. Beside him, Zhou Tong stepped forward and cupped his hands in respect. His words were full of flattery. Although he was a level 1 martial master expert, as Liu Xuanyu's personal guard, if he could make Liu Xuanyu happy, he would also receive many benefits and rewards. Moreover, it would be easier for him to gain the favor of the current patriarch of the Liu family. TCH, it's just a level 5 purple jade benevolent heart pill. It's nothing. Zhou Tong, don't forget that girl Chao Ling hasn't bid yet. She definitely won't miss this auction. Although our Liu family and the Chao family are allies on the surface, those who are not of our family are bound to have different intentions. After the fall of the old Lin family, there will definitely be conflicts between us and the Chow family. Moreover, when father comes out of seclusion, it's hard to say who will be the #1 family in Black Rock City. Lu Xuanyu ignored Zhou Tong's flattery. He leaned lazily on the beast-skin sofa in the room and said faintly as he nibbled on a fresh exotic fruit. He was the same as Lin Shuai and the others, seated in the Earth-tier suite. However, those from the Chow clan were seated in the Heaven-tier suite on the 3rd level. Since the start of the auction until now, no one from the Chow clan had made a bid. Clearly, the items here weren't enough to attract them. Therefore, Lu Xuanyu did not let his guard down. Moreover, he knew very well that the final item of this auction had yet to appear. Young patriarch, you're right. Hearing this, Zhou Tong's face froze, then he lowered his head slightly. In the hall on the 1st floor. I'm also very interested in this purple jade benevolent heart pill. I'll bid 55,000 pills. I hope everyone will give me some face. Just when everyone thought that the last purple cloud benevolent heart pill would definitely fall into Lu Xuanyu's hands, an unhurried old voice suddenly came from the crowd below. The old voice was deep and hoarse, as if he was not afraid of the Lu family, the local power of Black Rock City. Someone's bidding again. This horrifying cold aura. Could it be that person? It really is Old Man Whitebone. Looks like there's more suspense. Everyone's expression turned solemn as his voice faded. Their gazes turned towards a corner at the edge of the venue. Finally, their gazes landed on a skinny old man in a black robe. Discussions broke out all over the place in an instant. The black-robed old man's Yuanli aura was as deep as an abyss. He had already reached the level of a martial master, which was terrifying. This time, the black-robed old man was also wearing a strange clown mask, which added to the terrifying atmosphere. Even the few rogue cultivators nearby could not help but take a few steps back subconsciously. It seemed that this was the Old Man Whitebone that everyone was talking about. On the 2nd floor, in one of the Earth-ranked rooms. Marshal Lin, who is this Old Man Whitebone? Fei Ren narrowed his eyes as he looked at Old Man Whitebone. His expression was solemn. After all, the Yuanli's Yuanli was not weak. He had already reached level 1 Martial Master, and was infinitely close to level 2 Martial Master. Even Lin Fan would have to go all out to deal with him, and he dared not say that he would definitely win. This person is a rogue cultivator. Although he's old, he's very powerful. Moreover, he has a powerful white bone puppet in his hand, which is why he's called Old Man Whitebone. He's one of the well-known old powerhouses around Black Rock City. Even Great Elder Lin Fun and the others dare not underestimate him. Perhaps father is the only one in the entire Lin family who can deal with this old man. Lin Shuai took a deep breath in response to Fei Ren's question. Then, he said in a serious tone. Clearly, he was quite wary of this Old Man Whitebone. At this moment, in another room on the 2nd floor, Old Man Whitebone? I was wondering which bastard dared to spoil my fun. So it's this old man. Fine, he's got a bargain. Lu Xuanyu narrowed his eyes in response to Old Man Whitebone's interception. Then, he slowly loosened his clenched fists and sneered. It seemed that he did not intend to raise the price. Young clan leader, there's something I don't understand. Although the Old Man Whitebone is quite powerful, he's still a rogue cultivator. Why did you suddenly give up on raising the price? Zhou Tong was puzzled when he saw that Lu Xuanyu did not intend to raise the price and stopped in time. Chapter 307. That old man might be a rogue cultivator, but he's pretty strong. Even you might not be his match. Moreover, it's only a 5th-grade violet jade benevolent heart pill. This young master is only bidding for it for fun. Since this old white bone wants this violet jade benevolent heart pill, I'll just give it to him. As long as the final treasure of this auction doesn't fall into the hands of the Lin clan or the Chao clan, everything else is a small matter. Lu Xuanyu smiled in response to Zhou Tong's confusion. He waved his hand as if he already had a plan in mind. After all, Elder Whitebone was one of the more famous veteran cultivators around Black Rock City. Not only was he strong, but he was also vengeful. Lu Xuanyu didn't mind giving him face for a mere grade 5 purple jade benevolent heart pill. Oh, that's true. I've heard that this old man is extremely vengeful. It seems that you're wise, young clan leader. Zhou Tong coughed a few times and looked a little embarrassed. Although he was a little unwilling, Lu Xuanyu's words were not without reason. The White Bone Elder in front of him had been in the first level of the Martial Master realm for many years. Although his cultivation was still at the first level of the Martial Master realm, his overall strength was infinitely close to the second level of the Martial Master realm. He was very powerful, and ordinary warriors of the same level might not be his match. Zhou Tong's Yuan power cultivation was only at level 1 Martial Master. He was weaker than Elder White Bone in terms of combat experience and other aspects. Zhou Tong was very clear about his strength. Moreover, Zhou Tong had some understanding of the rumors of the old man White Bone. A few decades ago, there was once a quasi-8th rank family that offended Elder White Bone over some trivial matters. Since then, Elder White Bone hated them. One day, Elder White Bone took advantage of the fact that the quasi-8th rank family's expert was out to kill his way into the family's hinterland. He wiped out the entire family, leaving no survivors. His methods were ruthless. Therefore, just as Lu Xuanyu had said, if it wasn't a particularly precious treasure, there was no need for them to compete with Elder White Bone to avoid getting into trouble. After all, it was a thankless task to provoke a vengeful, crazy old man. At this moment, in the venue, 55,000 low-grade primordial stones. Any higher bids? Seeing Old Man White Bone raise the price again, a smile appeared on Nicole's slightly red face. Her focus was different from the others. No matter who the auction items ended up in, as long as they could be sold at a high price, she and the World Chamber of Commerce behind her would make a killing. Therefore, Nicole was delighted to see that Old Man White Bone dared to raise the price despite Lu Xuanyu's background. As the sound of his voice faded, the surroundings of the venue were deathly silent. Some of the independent cultivators looked at Elder White Bone with fear, while others looked at Lu Xuanyu and the others in the earth-ranked private room on the second floor. They seemed to have no intention of interfering and were waiting to see what would happen. The Lu clan's people are actually not increasing the price. It seems that they are also here for the final treasure of our Chamber of Commerce. What a pity! I thought that this violet jade benevolent heart pill could be sold for a higher price. Nicole also glanced at the earth-ranked private room on the second floor from the corner of her eye. She seemed to be a little surprised and regretful that Lu Xuanyu and the others did not choose to increase the price. So what if they are from the Lu clan? As long as it is not that old man Lu Shintong, I have nothing to fear. Below the stage, Old Man Baigu chuckled when he saw that no one else dared to make a bid. He secretly thought to himself, as if he had guessed the thoughts of Lu Xuanyu and the others. He was certain that they would not fight to the death with him over a mere violet jade benevolent heart pill. At the same time, Elder White Bone was obviously very confident in his own strength. He did not take the people around him seriously. After all, the strength of a LV-1 martial mentor was an extremely powerful deterrent. Most of the martial artists and rogue cultivators present at the auction were at the High Star realm or the half-step martial mentor realm. They were far from a true martial mentor realm expert. The only opponents that Elder White Bone was afraid of were the upper echelons of the three great clans. The Chao clan's patriarch Chao Chuanwu, the Lin clan's patriarch Lin Jinan, and the Lu clan's patriarch Lu Shintong. He was no match for these three people. 55,000 low-grade primordial stones for the last violet jade benevolent heart pill. Sold. After a few more breaths, Nicole saw that her incitement was futile and finally made the final decision. Although the final price was only 5,000 low-grade primordial stones higher than the previous price, it was still within the acceptable range of her and the World Chamber of Commerce. It was just a little less profit. I didn't expect Lu Xuanyu to give face to Elder White Bone. It seems that strength is still respected in the world of martial artists. That being said, the Violet Jade Benevolent Heart Pill's effect is limited. It can only temporarily increase a martial artist's strength. If it were a more precious treasure, Lu Xuanyu and the Lu clan might not give it up so easily. You're right, old brother, a skinny, dark-haired young man sighed. As soon as he finished speaking, a curly-haired man with a long sword on his back said faintly. He seemed to have seen the situation more clearly than the other party. In a room on the second floor. This old man White Bone is really something. Even Lu Xuanyu is afraid of him. Lin Shuai was also slightly surprised when he saw that Lu Xuanyu had given up on bidding. After all, as one of the three great geniuses of Black Rock City, Lu Xuanyu was also one of Lin Shuai's rivals for many years. They were on par in terms of strength and other aspects, but their temperaments were very different. Lu Xuanyu was more arrogant, domineering, and ruthless. Brother, I personally don't think this guy is afraid. It's very likely that the value of this item is not enough for him to bid. After all, although the Violet Jade Benevolent Heart Pill is good, the following items will definitely be more valuable. Fei Rin stepped forward and expressed a different opinion. He hit the nail on the head. Oh, I almost forgot about this. Brother Fei, you haven't bid for a long time. I guess you're also waiting? Lin Shuai grinned when he heard this, then looked away. He was not the only one who had not bid for this time's Black Rock auction. Fei Rin, who was beside him, was the same. They did not seem to be interested in the previous items. Yes, although these items are good, they're not suitable for me at the moment. In response to Lin Shuai's question, Fei Rin did not keep him in suspense and nodded. Currently, he only had 76,000 low-grade primordial stones in his hands. It was not a small amount, but it was definitely not a lot either. Therefore, he was very cautious to not waste them. Compared to Brother Fei, Lu Xuanyu and Xiao Ling are probably here for the final items of the auction. I have to save some money to compete with them. Lin Shuai took a deep breath after he finished speaking. His expression was slightly solemn as he thought to himself. After a while, just as the auction of the Violet Jade Benevolent Heart Pill came to an end, the next auction item was slowly presented by a young maid from the World Chamber of Commerce. Everyone, the next auction item has a great background and is extremely valuable. At the same time, it's also one of the rare treasures in this Black Rock auction. Don't miss it so easily. Haha, in order to not make everyone wait impatiently, I won't keep you in suspense. The next auction item is the Grade 6 Cultivation Method, Earth Toad Skill. In the middle of the stage, Nicole gently brushed her hair behind her ear. Then, she pursed her lips and smiled. Her tone could not help but reveal a trace of charm. Chapter 308. A Rank 6 Cultivation Method. As soon as he said this, everyone below the stage was shocked. One had to know that the value of a Rank 5 cultivation technique was already extremely rare. If a martial artist cultivated a Rank 5 cultivation technique, even if his talent was low, he would still have a chance to break through the shackles of the realm and step into the martial master realm. The Earth Toad technique in Nicole's hand was an even rarer Rank 6 cultivation method. Its power was far greater than a Rank 5 cultivation method. Its huge value was self-evident. I didn't expect the World Merchant Association to be able to obtain a Rank 6 cultivation method. How rare. On the third floor, in a heaven-class private room, A young lady in a red dress had a surprised look in her eyes. Her lips were slightly parted, as if she was shocked by the other party's generosity. After all, the auction was only halfway through, and a rank 6 cultivation method like the Earth Toad technique had already appeared. It was enough to show the World Merchant Association's foundation. The rank 6 cultivation method in front of them was clearly not the most valuable treasure of the Black Rock auction. The show had just begun. "Miss, are you also interested in this Earth Toad technique? Then should we?" As soon as the lady in the red dress finished speaking, a short-haired girl beside her stepped forward and probed in a low voice. She was the personal maid of the lady in the red dress. Although she was young, she came from the Chow family, the head of the 3 major families. She also had a decent cultivation of origin power, around the 9th level of the Star Realm. She was about the same as Lu Yunying, who was crippled by Feiren. The short-haired girl in the red dress in front of her had an even more extraordinary background. She was the eldest daughter of the Chow family, Chao Chuanwu Chao Ling. Although Chao Ling was only a girl, her talent and comprehension far exceeded her peers. She started martial arts at the age of 6, comprehended origin power at the age of 7, and stepped into the Middle Unity realm at the age of 13. She was only in her early 20s, but her origin power cultivation had already stepped into the martial master realm. She was known as the number 1 person in the younger generation of the Chow family. Apart from that, Chao Ling was also the head of the 3 geniuses of Black Rock City. Her combined strength crushed Lu Xuanyu from the Lu family and Lin Shui from the Lin family. "Hua Kuei, how much money did we bring this time?" There was no reply. Chao Ling glanced indifferently at the short-haired girl named Hua Kuei. The short-haired girl in front of her was not only her personal maid but had also followed her for many years. She was rather favored by Chao Ling. Hence, Chao Ling had brought her along to the Black Lava auction and allowed her to manage the items. "Miss, about 500,000 low-grade primordial stones, and according to your previous instructions, in order to prevent the lack of financial resources, I also ordered the servants to bring a lot of spiritual treasures and elixirs from the family's secret storehouse. When the time comes, we can also exchange them for a lot of primordial stones." Hua Kuei nodded obediently in response to Chao Ling's question. Let's take a look first. If the price of this level 6 cultivation method is suitable, I can fight for it. If the price is too outrageous, then forget it." As soon as she finished speaking, Chao Ling looked down at the venue again. At the same time, she crossed her arms in front of her chest as if she had other considerations. At this moment, following the appearance of the level 6 cultivation method, Earth Toad skill, the atmosphere of the auction reached a climax and was abnormally fiery. "Everyone, this Earth Toad skill was obtained by our Chamber of Commerce from the ruins of an ancient sect. This skill doesn't have any requirements for the cultivator's innate spiritual root. In other words, even if you were a mortal who didn't have origin energy and had low innate talent, you can still cultivate this skill and change your destiny. The starting price of this cultivation method is 200,000 low-grade primordial stones, and each increment must not be less than 50,000. On the stage, seeing the atmosphere of the auction once again livened up, Nicole also slowly spoke out. "I'll bid 200,000. As soon as she finished speaking, someone immediately shouted out a price. The person who called out the price was a half-step to martial master red-robed middle-aged man. He had a fat head and big ears, and it seemed that his wealth was not low. He did not hesitate to shout out a price. However, this Earth Toad skill was a level 6 cultivation method, and its price was naturally more than 200,000 low-grade primordial stones. 250,000. As expected, after the red-robed middle-aged man called out a price, another person immediately shouted out a price. 300,000. 35. Very quickly, the price of this level 6 Earth Toad skill rose to a sky-high price of 400,000 low-grade primordial stones, which was comparable to a level 5 soul treasure. Furthermore, the price had risen to a sky-high price of 400,000 low-grade primordial stones, but it still did not reach its peak. The people present at the auction did not know who this Earth Toad skill would end up in. Level 6 Cultivation Method, Earth Toad Skill. If I can obtain this cultivation method, this old man's strength will definitely increase greatly. It will even be comparable to a level 3 martial master. At this moment, Elder Baigu, who was also looking at the Earth Toad skill manual in Nicole's hands, narrowed his eyes. A trace of greed and passion flashed across his turbid eyes. It was obvious that he was greatly moved by this cultivation method. However, the price of the Earth Toad skill manual had already risen to a sky-high price of 400,000 low-grade primordial stones. Even if he was a veteran level 1 martial master, his wealth was far from the soaring price of the Earth Toad skill manual, and he could only look and retreat. A bunch of ignorant juniors. This cultivation method will temporarily be placed with you. Once we leave the boundary of Black Rock City, the Earth Toad skill will be in this old man's pocket. Thinking of this, the passion in Elder Baigu's eyes subsided a little. However, a murderous intent secretly rose in his heart. It seemed that he did not intend to bid, but instead intended to kill and seize the treasure. After all, in the world of martial artists, strength was respected. If a martial artist's strength was not enough and did not have a strong backing, even if they obtained the Earth Toad skill manual, this level 6 cultivation method, in the end, they would definitely not be able to keep it and would only benefit others. Therefore, the crowd of martial artists competing for the Earth Toad skill manual naturally became the prey in Elder Baigu's eyes. Young clan leader, the price has already risen to 400,000. Should we give it a try? On the second floor, seeing the price of the Earth Toad skill manual soar and Lu Xuanyu biding his time, Zhou Tong immediately asked in bewilderment. After all, it was a Tier 6 cultivation technique. One had to know that even the Lu clan, a dignified Tier 8 clan, only had Tier 6 cultivation techniques practiced by their direct descendants, which was similar to the Earth Toad skill manual in front of him. Then we'll listen to you. It's a pity that it's not a level 7 cultivation method. Otherwise, this young master would definitely use all his strength to obtain it. In response to Zhou Tong's probing, Lu Xuanyu nodded and then shouted out his bid, 450,000. 450,000 low-grade primordial stones. At this moment the auction site was silent. No one made a sound. After all, 400,000 low-grade primordial stones was already a sky-high price. Now that Lu Xuanyu had increased it by another 50,000, even some martial masters could not help but shrink back at this price. They did not have the financial resources to continue increasing the price. The Lu clan is really rich. Seeing how rich Lu Xuanyu was, even Fei Ren could not help but sigh softly. After all, the Lu clan was the wealthiest among the 3 major clans in Black Rock City. The clan's businesses were spread throughout the entire Black Rock City. There were even figures of the Lu clan in some cities outside. In terms of financial resources, even the Chao clan, the capital of the 3 major clans, could not compare. That's right. The Lu clan's overall strength is actually similar to our Lin clan. The only advantage they have is money. It's a pity that our Lin clan has already declined. If it was the Lin clan at its peak, even the Chao and Lu clans together would not be a match for us. About 50 years ago, when the Lin clan was at its peak, they had 8 martial masters. On the side, Lin Shuai also shook his head and smiled bitterly. Chapter 309. 8 Martial Masters? As soon as he finished speaking, Fei Ren's face froze as well, feeling somewhat surprised. After all, the Lin family only had 2 martial masters, Lin Jinan and Lin Fun. Neither of them had reached LV4 Martial Master. If what Lin Shui said was true, the Lin family used to have 8 Martial Masters at its peak. But now, there were only 2 Martial Masters in the entire Lin family. The difference was huge. Yes, the Lin family used to have 8 Martial Masters, and one of them was a LV9 Martial Master. He was extremely powerful. 50 years ago, our Lin family was not an 8th rank family but a quasi-7th rank family. We ruled over the entire Black Rock City, and were only one step away from becoming a true 7th rank family. As long as one of our family members stepped into the martial spirit realm, the Lin family would be promoted to a 7th rank family. However, due to an unforeseen event, the Lin family lost countless experts. Only my father and the great elder survived. Because of this, the Lin family went into decline. Lin Shui nodded. He looked disappointed. What unforeseen event? Feiren asked. I'm not sure. I only know that the ancestors of the Lin family all died in a secret realm. It seemed like they were fighting for a mysterious treasure. However, this past has always been a taboo in the family. My father and the great elder don't seem to want to talk about it. Lin Shui shook his head in response to Feiren's doubts. Obviously, he did not know the details because it was so long ago. Seeing that Lin Shui didn't mention anything else, Feiren didn't say anything either. He once again focused his attention on the auction before him. After all, he had come here for treasures. If he didn't have any treasures that caught his eye, it would be a waste of time. 450,000. Is there a higher price? At this moment, the auction was still going on. Nicole's elegant voice was heard. However, the crowd was still silent. Some of them looked up at the 2nd and 3rd floors of the auction hall. They seemed to have been persuaded by Lu Xuanyu's astronomical price, and gave up bidding. 450,000. Other than the Lin family and the Chao family, no one else has such great wealth, one of them lamented. That's right. Now, let's see how the 3 great families flaunt their wealth. A young man in white sighed as soon as he finished speaking. His origin power cultivation was only at the 7th level of the star realm, and he had also bid for a few grade 4 pills earlier. However, most of the high star realm itinerant cultivators had stopped. They chose to watch the show. After all, the price of each treasure would only increase as the auction progressed. Most of the itinerant cultivators present didn't have the financial resources to compete. 500,000. Just when everyone thought that Lu Xuanyu had obtained the Earth Toad skill manual, a crisp female voice rang out in the air. Her tone was firm, and it came from the Heaven-class VIP room on the 3rd floor. It's the Chao family. The eldest daughter of the Chao family, Chao Ling. Everyone was stunned, and they were rather surprised. After all, there was no one else in Black Rock City other than the Chao family, the leader of the 3 great families, who could afford the Heaven-class VIP room on the 3rd floor. Since Lu Xuanyu had arrived at the auction, the number 1 genius of the Chao family, Chao Ling, naturally wouldn't be absent. Miss, I'm sure Lu Xuanyu is furious at the price of 500,000. If he continues to bid, he'll definitely suffer a huge loss. He's unwilling to give up now. As soon as Chao Ling finished speaking, Hua Kuei covered her mouth and laughed. After all, the auction hadn't reached the end, and the final treasure hadn't appeared yet. Even if the Lu family was wealthy, Lu Xuanyu wouldn't spend all his money to compete with Chao Ling for a grade 6 technique. There was no need for him to do so. Hua Kuei, you've learned to be smart after following me for so many years. That's right. I just want to annoy that guy. Although the Chao family and the Lu family have formed an alliance, it's only for show. The Lu family isn't trustworthy then. Chao Ling's lips curled up, and a sly look appeared on her pretty face. Clearly, she was raising the price on purpose. Damn it. Chao Ling, that girl, is determined to go against me? On the other side, Lu Xuanyu's face darkened at the sudden increase in price. Previously, the price of the Earth Toad skill manual kept rising, but Chao Ling didn't make a move. Now, at the critical moment, Chao Ling interfered and raised the price by another 50,000. This made him furious. "Young family head, do you still want to raise the price?" Zhou Tong asked uneasily as he looked at Lu Xuanyu's livid face. He seemed to be afraid that Lu Xuanyu would get angry. 550,000. Lu Xuanyu ignored Zhou Tong's words and shouted angrily again. Clearly, he was provoked to the point where his face turned red. Wow, the Lu family is indeed the wealthiest among the three great families. A grade 6 technique was auctioned for 550,000 low-grade primordial stones. Terrifying. Seeing Lu Xuanyu and Chao Ling raising the price, the crowd sighed. "Miss, that guy is really pissed off. He raised the price by another 50,000. In the room, Hua Kuei was slightly surprised. At the same time, he glanced at Chao Ling, as if waiting for her reaction. "Give it to him. I'm not stupid. Spending 550,000 low-grade primordial stones on a mere 6th-grade cultivation method will make even the Lu family feel the pinch. Let's see what Lu Xuanyu can use to compete with me for the final treasure." Chao Ling pursed her lips and smiled. Surprisingly, she didn't raise the price. 550,000 low-grade primordial stones. Sold. Seeing that the surroundings were silent and that Chao Ling didn't raise the price, Nicole, who was on the stage, smiled like a blooming flower and said, "Although the Earth Toad skill was a grade 6 technique, its value was at most 400,000 low-grade primordial stones. Now that it was auctioned for 550,000 low-grade primordial stones, Nicole was naturally overjoyed. She didn't lose anything this time. On the second floor, in the Earth-ranked private room. "Young family head, we only brought about 600,000 low-grade primordial stones this time. You cleared it all out this time." Seeing that the Earth Toad skill had fallen into Lu Xuanyu's pocket, Zhou Tong didn't look happy at all. 550,000 low-grade primordial stones. I actually used all my wealth to buy a level 6 cultivation method? And that girl, Chao Ling, actually stopped bidding. Hearing that, Lu Xuanyu regained his composure and rationality. His face was a little dazed. Suddenly, he spat out a mouthful of blood. In the next moment, Lu Xuanyu's vision turned black. At the same time, his body fell to the ground as if he was infuriated by Chao Ling. 550,000 low-grade primordial stones to buy a grade 6 technique. Lu Xuanyu must have lost his mind, seeing that the Earth Toad skill had fallen into Lu Xuanyu's hands. Fei Ren also reached out to touch his nose and said in a playful tone, "That's right. After this auction, Lu Xuanyu's wealth should be almost depleted. However, I never expected that last Chao Ling to be so vicious. She would even trick her own allies. I reckon that after our Lin family falls, the Chao family's next step will be to deal with the Lu family and dominate the entire Black Rock City, just like the Lin family at their peak back then." Although Lin Shuai didn't know that Lu Xuanyu was so angry that he spat out blood, he was a smart person. He also understood that Chao Ling had purposely raised the price and cheated Lu Xuanyu at the same time. After all, no matter how expensive a grade 6 technique was, it was definitely not worth 550,000 low-grade primordial stones. Such a large sum of wealth was equivalent to several years of the Lin family's income. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.